Atlanta Fulton County Stadium for today's interdivisional matchup between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Atlanta Falcons. And hello everyone, I'm James Brown. On the surface of it, today's game between the Cardinals and Falcons would seem to be of very little significance. However, St. Louis has an outside shot at a wild card playoff position, and the St. Louis players feel that it's very attainable. Working with me is my partner, Dan Jiggets. And Danny, although it would seem that the Cardinals will be the ones most inspired for today, both teams come into the contest very, very confident.
Well, James, the Cardinals are 4-6 and not mathematically eliminated from a wild card position in the playoffs. Now, I'll grant you it's a stretch to say that they can make it, but what it would take would be a total collapse of either the Minnesota Vikings or the New Orleans Saints in order for them to get in. But, you know, 1987's been a strange season, and stranger things have happened.
And, Danny, on the other side of the coin, the Falcons come into today's game with a record of 2-8. They've lost 5 straight, and quite frankly, a number of their players will be playing for a little more than just pride today.
Well, James, as head coach Marion Campbell told us, when you have the kind of situation that they have in Atlanta, you play for your team, you play for yourself, for your family, and last of all, for your job. It's those kinds of things that motivate people, and that's the bottom line here in Atlanta. And quite frankly, that scares the St. Louis Cardinals because they know that the Falcons have absolutely nothing to lose in this game, and that makes the Falcons very dangerous.
Well, after a rainy night in Georgia, weather conditions today, partly sunny, a little overcast indeed, temperature around 52 degrees. And Atlanta will be doing the kicking off. And doing so will be Mick Luckhurst. And back with the St. Louis Cardinals will be Derek McAdoo, number 33, and Vi Sikahema, number 36. And we're underway. Short kick, and Derek McAdoo has it. And McAdoo gets up around near the 30-yard line. So the Cardinals, on the return of Derek McAdoo, will open the series at quarterback Neil Lomax. And he's got a hot hand this season, having an absolutely beautiful year. And the defense that Neil Lomax will be facing.
2 changes in that defensive line. They moved from a 3-4 to a 4-3 defense, and as a result, Harrison and Brown are starting.
And the linebacking core, a little changing back there.
A little changing. They've lost a lot of people in that linebacking core.
And the secondary.
Moore and Tim Gordon are new starters back there for Atlanta.
1st and 10, ball on the 30. And Lomax looking to go to the air quickly. Had it batted down by Greg Brown. So Lomax trying to get uncorked early. First one is incomplete thanks to a great defensive play by Greg Brown. And the St. Louis offense.
JC Neil Lomax is glad to have Roy Green back in the mix.
And the offensive line.
James, I believe this is the first time in the history of the National Football League that all 5 starters on the offensive line have been black.
Brings up a 2nd and 10, ball on the 30 of the Cardinals. In motion, Robert Awalt, and the handoff goes to number 31, Errol Farrell. Farrell with the pickup of maybe 2. Been a little bit of a problem for the Cardinals this year with their running game, not up to snuff as far as years past, Danny.
Well, I think one of the other problems is, though, is when you're playing during the season and you get behind in games early, you suddenly go to the passing game, and that's something that Gene Stallings shared with us last night. The fact that they haven't been able to rely on their running backs, Stump Mitchell and Earl Farrell, like he would very much like to. Passing game has been more active, and as a result, Neil Lomax has had a great season so far.
Well, it was a pickup of 4 that time, and Farrell is still down on one knee, a little shaking up on the play. That'll bring up a 3rd and 6. Farrell in his 6th year out of East Tennessee State, averaging about 4.5 yards per carry since entering the NFL in 1982.
And we may very well see Ron Wolfley, number 24, for the Cardinals, come in and replace Earl Farrell.
So Farrell a little shaken up on that carry. His first carry of the game heads to the sidelines. As if things haven't been difficult enough for the Cardinals as far as their running game is concerned. That isn't a bright note there. 3rd and 6. Ball on the 34 of St. Louis. 4 wideouts in. In the shotgun, Neil Lomax. And Lomax had plenty of time. Complete across the middle to J.T. Smith. 1st down territory and a bunch. J.T. Smith near the 45-yard line of Atlanta.
James, the thing I like about J.T. Smith is he's got style and he's an old man. I was asking him for the fountain of youth last night. There you see him at the top of your screen. Number 84, he's going to run an in route here, in slant. Here he comes, 84, right towards you in the middle of your living room. J.T. Smith makes a beautiful cut there and a nice reception. Beat the cornerback with one-on-one coverage and got a good run after the reception.
A good run indeed, a 22-yard pickup, 1st and 10. Complete. The pass goes to Stump Mitchell. And Errol Farrell, who went out, of course, on his first carry, was poked in the eye. So hopefully he'll be okay. He should be back and see some action the rest of the game.
Well, James, what you see a lot of players wearing these days are those Lexan masks over their helmets. And if we can get a shot of number 68, Dennis Harrison, for the Falcons, I believe Dennis has that glass mask over his face to prevent himself from getting poked in the eye again.
Stump Mitchell with a pickup of 6 on that pass completion. Brings up 2nd and 4. Ball on the 38 of Atlanta. Three wide outs in. Lomax, the handoff, goes to Ron Wolfley. And Wolfley, with nowhere to go, met by a horde of white shirts.
Ron Wolfley was all dressed up. And there you see the glass mask that Dennis Harrison is wearing. A lot of defensive linemen wear those because they get stuck in the eye so much. And Dennis at 6'8", you can imagine that's probably the closest place that you can hit when he's pass rushing. But it does save those eyes and saves a lot of injuries to the eyeball.
Brings up a 3rd and 5 situation. St. Louis. 2 receivers to the left. Lomax, back to pass. And complete. Out of the backfield, Ron Wolfley. And Wolfley with the first down. And one thing that's really distinguished Lomax this year is that he's been using a lot of his weapons, including his backs.
He certainly has. And we were talking with Scott Campbell, quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons last night. He said he has a very difficult time throwing this pass to the backside of the backfield. But that's what a great quarterback can do for you. Neil Lomax makes it look easy. Leaves Ron Wolfley enough so that he can turn upfield and get some extra yardage on the play.
1st and 10, ball on the 29 of the Falcons. In motion, Errol Farrell. Now Robert Awalt. A little juggling along that offensive formation. And the handoff goes to Earl Farrell, and Farrell with no room to run. And I said a bunch of white shirts, and there are a bunch of red shirts in on the attack this time.
Yeah, and they were doing a lot of juggling with Earl Farrell in the line of scrimmage.
And Danny, this stadium seats 59,000. Officials were expecting around 20,000. They'll be lucky if they get that today by the size of the crowd now.
It looks very thin, James, and you've got to wonder where these fans are. And, it's about 50 degrees down here today. I'm sure they're out enjoying this holiday weekend.
No gain on the play. 2nd and 10. Lomax grabbed immediately. And Lomax goes down under the grasp of John Rady. And Rady looks like he had an elastic arm that time as he came right over top of the center.
He did the elastic man move. Watch him, number 59, right in the middle of your screen. He's going to reach over Derek Kennard, number 70, and just grab Neil Lomax and throw him to the ground. Neil saying, hey, you're not supposed to do that quick. At least let me set up.
And that has to be one of the quickest sacks in NFL history.
Well, you know, we're going to have to go back and time that replay just to find out. I give him a 1.2 seconds.
One of the difficulties St. Louis has experienced, Derek Kennard at the center position. He's a natural guard playing center. Brings up a 3rd and 14. 4 wideouts in for the Cardinals. Lomax out of the shotgun. Looking for Roy Green, and he's got it complete. Oh, incomplete. Green had the ball, but dropped it.
And now they're saying that he fumbled the ball. Apparently he had it long enough to call it a reception, and as he was going to the ground, he fumbled the ball as he was tackled. Roy Green fumbles the football. Atlanta recovers.
And give the credit to Tim Gordon, who recovered the fumble.
Now, the key part of the play, James, is right there where you saw the ball coming out. As Roy was going to the ground, the ball was pulled out, and Tim Gordon, number 41, recovered for the Falcons.
So an impressive opening drive by the St. Louis Cardinals is stopped at the Falcon 25. Danny, was there any question about Roy Green catching the ball?
Well, James, right at the bottom of your screen, there you see Roy receiving the pass, takes those steps, and now Bobby Butler, number 23, knocks it out of his hands. and it's recovered by number 41, Tim Gordon, for the Falcons.
And the Falcons will take over 1st and 10, ball on their own 25. In motion, Arthur Cox. And of course, Gerald Riggs, the ball carrier. Riggs with a pickup up 2. And the defense that Scott Campbell will be facing of St. Louis. The defensive line.
And there you see 2 young rookies starting down there, Steve Albert and Rod Sadler. Both of those guys are new guys.
Linebacking core.
They're expecting a lot of the number 1 draft choice, 86, Anthony Bell.
And the secondary.
Carl Carter and Cedric Mack have had their problems at the cornerback positions.
And a pickup of 2 brings up a 2nd and 8. Ball on the 27 of Atlanta. In motion, Arthur Cox, and the handoff to Riggs again. Riggs with a little running room. He's got daylight, and Gerald Riggs looks to have gotten near 1st down territory. Stopped by Nico Noga.
James, one of the things that Gerald Riggs does so well is he runs in between the tackles extremely well. You see number 88, Arthur Cox, leading him in there. Now Arthur's supposed to slip in and get that blocked, and now Gerald bounces it outside, and the only thing that stops him is a diving tackle by Noga that slows him down, and the secondary makes the final stop.
And the run was good enough to require a measurement, and it looks as if he'll be about 2 to 3 inches shy of the 1st down, but a powerful runner is he, Gerald Riggs. And the Atlanta offense, of course, anchored by Gerald Riggs.
And Ron Middleton will be starting at H-back in place of Ken Wiesenhunt today.
And the offensive line.
Big and strong all the way across, from left tackle to tight end.
So it brings up 3rd and inches for the Falcons. Ball marked on the 34. And the handoff to the big man, of course, Riggs. And Riggs looks as if he got the 1st down, stopped by E.J. Jr.
James, one of the things you think about when you're in this position and you're the Atlanta Falcons is, do you hand the ball off to Gerald Riggs where it's guaranteed money, get the 1st down, or do you run the quarterback sneak? We get a chance to see Gerald Riggs plunge into the offensive line. He gets it with no sweat and a little bit of concern, but there you see that little move right there is what put him across for the 1st down yardage.
Well, as you mentioned, the option that time was to go to the guaranteed money, Gerald Riggs, who has a club record 23 100-yard games. And Atlanta, of course, Marion Campbell looking to run him as much as possible. Scott Campbell in at the helm for the Atlanta Falcons. In motion, Arthur Cox. Campbell back to pass. Looking downfield, going deep, looking for Floyd Dixon. And Dixon falls. And Carl Carter, on the coverage that time, actually had a hand.
James, I can't believe it. Carl Carter got away with mugging the receiver, Floyd Dixon. The problem was deep in the right corner of your screen. There you see him taking off, going downfield on the go route. Now watch Carl reach in right here and just knock Floyd Dixon to the ground. And then he catches the ball, or he attempts to catch it. I don't know how he got away with that. I don't know what the ruling was with the officials. One question may be, because Carl was turning around to look for the football as well as the receiver, he's got just as much right to catch it as the receiver does.
Floyd Dixon wide to the right this time, 2nd and 10. For the Falcons, ball on their own 36. And the pitch goes back to Gerald Riggs. Riggs turning the corner, going straight ahead. And Riggs with a good pickup of about 6 yards on the play. Stopped by Anthony Bell. And Gerald Riggs, of course, throughout the years has been one of the most productive runners in the NFL. And he's in some pretty fair company there, Danny.
And you see, just since 1984, the only running back that's outdone him is Eric Dickerson, and that's in total yards. And Walter Payton, Marcus Allen right behind him. Those are some great names in the National Football League.
And, of course, hasn't had the kind of year that he'd like to have this year. He is 3rd in the NFC amongst rushing leaders, but again, Atlanta's been behind so often. 3rd and 3. Ball on the 43 of Atlanta. Riggs again, the ball carrier, breaks a tackle and crawls ahead about 1.5 yards to 2.
James, you said that Atlanta's been behind so much this season, and that is the reason why Gerald has not had the kind of season he's normally used to. They've had to throw the football a lot, and Marion Campbell relayed that to us the other day. He said, hey, look, you know, when you get behind by 20, 30 points, you got to put it up. You can't rely on Gerald then. As a matter of fact, then he's got to become a pass receiver for you. And Gerald Riggs just got the 1st down for the Atlanta Falcons.
Well, you talk about money in the bank, and on 2 consecutive 3rd downs, Gerald Riggs has been the man to take it for the 1st down. Other scores from around the league, the Packers leading Chicago 7-0. And the Colts on top of the Oilers. Cincinnati down by a touchdown to the Jets. 1st and 10, ball on the 46. Campbell back to pass. Looking for Matthews, complete to Aubrey Matthews. He drops the ball, fumble, and it's recovered by E.J. Jr., the signal caller defensively for the St. Louis Cardinals. So it was a completed pass to Aubrey Matthews for 1st down yardage, but he fumbled the ball.
Well, James, if it can happen for you, it can happen against you. Left side of your screen, Scott Campbell gets it over there, but the ball is just given up right here on a nice stick. And then you see E.J. Jr. getting on top of it, doing the smart thing, recovering the football first, and then running with it second.
E.J. Jr., 7th year out of Alabama. He's a steadying force back there in that St. Louis defense. So it's been a matter of both teams turning the ball over on their first possessions in the opening quarter here. Atlanta turning the ball back over to St. Louis. St. Louis gets the ball near midfield, marked at the 49, 1st and 10. In motion, Earl Farrell. Lomax pitches back to Stump Mitchell. And Mitchell across the 50 to about the 49-yard line before being stopped by Tony Casillas.
James, that's the reason why Tony Casillas was a first-round draft choice. As a matter of fact, one of the first people selected in the NFL draft. He made a tackle. At that time, they were right in the middle of the field. He goes all the way to the sideline to make the stop.
And Stump Mitchell's got a little bit to be pleased about coming into today's game. He and his wife, or make that his wife specifically, gave birth to a young lady by the name of Gail. Happened on Friday.
And I asked Stump if his daughter's name was Seedling.
Pickup of 2, 2nd and 8 for the Cardinals. Looking for J.T. Smith, and it's incomplete as J.T. Smith had a hand on it, but good tight coverage provided by Bobby Butler.
Bobby Butler's going to come in on J.T. just at the last second here, pull him away from the football as J.T. is airborne, and that's the reason why he didn't make the reception. He had to go airborne, and now watch Bobby just pull him away from the football. And as a result, it bounces to the ground, and J.T. missed. But he doesn't miss very many, does he?
And he said last evening that he recognized a lot of the corners were going to be playing off of him, and he was going to try to sucker them in with the underneath stuff. As you take a look at the standings in the East, this game does mean a lot to St. Louis. 3rd and 8, ball on the 49. 4 wideouts in for the Cardinals. Going up top, looking deep for Troy Johnson. He's got it. Touchdown, St. Louis.
Troy Johnson must have gotten that dance from Nico Noga. Looked like a Hawaiian hula dance.
A 49-yard pass completion from Neil Lomax to Troy Johnson, 2nd year out of Southern University.
Neil Lomax drops back and gets very comfortable in the pocket here. No pressure, and he just lost it up. Troy Johnson's got his man beat right now. As a matter of fact, he's got 2 men beat, and he makes tracks to the end zone.
And Danny, the pass couldn't have been more perfectly placed by Neil Lomax.
Well, that's the kind of season that Neil's been having. Everything's been working well for him, and his receivers are working well for him. He's got some young guys in there now, as well as some old ones like J.T. Smith.
Attempting a point after will be Jim Gallery. Low snap, but it's up, and it's good. So the Cardinals strike first. They get on the scoreboard thanks to a long pass, 49 yards from Lomax to Troy Johnson.
Last year, the Giants knocked out the Redskins. Now the first place Skins are out for revenge. Next on CBS Sports.
So the Cardinals move out ahead 7-0 over the Atlanta Falcons. And the story of the drive, 3 plays, 51 yards, less than a minute to strike pay dirt.
Kills you time of possession, but you love to see it on the clock.
And certainly that turnover by the Falcons cost them dearly. Jim Gallery doing the kicking off back deep for Atlanta, Larry Emery. And it's going to go to one of the up men, John Settle, and Settle pulls his way up near the 30-yard line before being run out of bounds. So Atlanta will take over their second possession, and they'll start from their own 30. Scott Campbell, young man in his 4th year from Purdue University, and Marion Campbell is really very comfortable with the job that Scott Campbell has done. As a matter of fact, Scott Campbell had to work like the Dickens to claim a spot on the roster.
Well, Marion is very comfortable with him, and he's also comfortable in knowing he's got his first-round draft choice. Chris Miller out of Oregon signed finally, and he's in camp and has been working out.
Wide to the left is Aubrey Matthews. In motion, Ron Middleton. And play action goes to Matthews, and Matthews with a little bit of room across the 35 to about the 37. And let's take a look at that last touchdown scored by St. Louis.
Well, James, as I said before, Neil Lomax is back in the pocket out of the spread formation. No pressure to speak of. He just sits back and his pitch and catch. And there's Troy Johnson, number 87, strolling into the end zone. What you'd like to do on a Sunday afternoon, go to Hawaii and do a little hula dance.
And with that touchdown pass, Lomax now needs only one more touchdown to move into second place behind Jim Hart in that category. Pickup of 8, 2nd and 2. The handoff to Riggs, and Riggs with first down yardage plus more. Gerald Riggs, for the 3rd consecutive time on 3rd down, has given the Falcons first down yardage, and he's out near the 45. Call it the 44.
James, the H-back position for the Atlanta Falcons is a key position. Number 87, Ron Middleton, has the chance of his lifetime today. He's gonna start, may start this week, not only this week, but also next week for the Falcons. If he does well, he could be setting himself up for a long career in the NFL.
Floyd Dixon, wide to the left. Campbell back to pass, looking deep, going up top, looking for Dixon. And Dixon with tight coverage, incomplete. Lonnie Young did a good job on the coverage that time with a little bit of help from Cedric Mack.
Those guys in the secondary of St. Louis have the umbrella of protection on those deep receivers. They've made up their minds today that, hey, you're not going to beat us deep, so you might as well start working underneath. Here you see Scott Campbell and what he sees. He just lofts it downfield, but watch those cornerbacks close in the safety. There's no room there. Those guys look like the receivers back there instead of Floyd Dixon.
And that would have been a miraculous catch. Brings up a 2nd and 10. Ball at the 44. In motion, Ron Middleton. And the pitch goes to Riggs. Riggs going around the right side. Knocked out of bounds at about the 46-yard line by Nico Noga.
James, as I mentioned before, number 87, Ron Middleton, has the opportunity of his lifetime. There you see him on the right side of your screen. Let's see what Ron Middleton is doing out there on the field. Now here's his block on the cornerback. He takes him out cleanly, and that gives number 42, Gerald Riggs, the opportunity to turn the corner and get good yardage on the play.
And it's a pickup of 2, bringing up a 3rd and 8. Out of the shotgun, 3 wideouts in for the Falcons. Campbell looking complete. And Matthews with first down yardage and more. Aubrey Matthews with a big reception for the Falcons to give them a first down.
James, one of the things I've noticed about both the St. Louis Cardinals and the Atlanta Falcons on defense is they are not getting any pressure on the quarterback. The result is they have all day to pick out their receivers. And there you see Scott Campbell, he's got all day to find Aubrey Matthews. Aubrey's got all kinds of time to make his move and then get out of bounds and probably go get a drink of Gatorade.
As we take a look at Jim Hannafin, and you know him well.
Jim Hannafin spent 14 years of his life in St. Louis, and he asked us to pass along his hellos to everyone back there in St. Louis. He's now with the Atlanta Falcons. 1st and 10, ball on the 41 of the Cardinals. Gerald Riggs going straight ahead to about the 34-yard line before being stopped by E.J. Jr. You know, Jim Hannafin is one of the best storytellers in the National Football League, JB. When you have a little conversation with him on the field, sometimes you expect to only talk for about a minute, and it ends up being a nice long conversation of about 12. He is a wonderful man to be around. And I'm sure he's got plenty to share. Absolutely. Classic so pickup NFL. Of 7. Call it 2nd and 3. Ball on the 34 of the Cardinals. Campbell back to pass. Complete. Down near the 25-yard line to Floyd Dixon. So Scott Campbell is on target. Campbell, of course, had a good game last week, although the Falcons lost to the Vikings. Campbell was 19 of 35 for 212 yards and a touchdown, and he's on target today. And that time, Scott Campbell had dealer's choice. He could have gone to Floyd Dixon downfield, or he had Gerald Riggs wide open coming out of the backfield.
say the least. Not a bad start statistically for Scott Campbell. So it's 1st and 10. Falcons on the march. Ball at the 25 of St. Louis. 3:39 remaining in the first. Falcons down by a touchdown. And the handoff to Riggs. Riggs looking for a hole. And Gerald Riggs pulls his way down to near the 21-yard line.
James, that's where Gerald Riggs gets you. You don't notice how much yardage he's gaining because he's not one of those kind of guys that's going to break it for 60 or 70 yards. But at the end of the day, you start adding it up and he's well over 100 yards. That's just the kind of running back he is, a workhorse.
Like an all-day lollipop, he loves to run it. The Eagles on top of New England. 3-0 that first quarter action. Indianapolis in a 5-way tie in the AFC East. They lead Houston 7-0. The Jets involved in that 5-way tie. They're leading Cincinnati. And Green Bay on top of Chicago. Campbell back to pass on 2nd and 6. Across the middle, and it's complete. Down near the goal line to Billy White Shoes Johnson.
The shoes. Billy told us he still had a couple of receptions left in that 13-year NFL body. He's going to come right across the middle of your screen. Number 81, Billy White Shoes Johnson. Scott Campbell finds him on a slant pattern there, and he just makes a beautiful reception, squeezes it right in between defenders, and Billy almost gets into the end zone. Cedric Mack on this stop, number 47 for the Cardinals.
Billy White Shoes Johnson, ageless wonder. Talk about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in professional basketball. This young man, as you mentioned before, at age 35, playing like a spring chicken.
Well, he still looks young, too. That's a surprising thing. He's still got a lot of spring in his legs and a lot of spring in his heart because he just enjoys playing the game.
So the ball is down at the 2-yard line. 1st and goal. Ball on the 2. 2:16 remaining in the first quarter. Atlanta threatening. And the handoff, and over the top goes to Gerald Riggs.
No signal yet. I believe he's right down short, just shy of the goal line. Now we're going to get a peek at it from ground level. Now watch and see where Gerald Riggs, does he break the plane of the end zone. He gets airborne here, and he comes down just shy of the goal line, right there. I'm sure he's going to get another shot at it, though.
Indeed, a pickup of 1, 2nd and goal, ball marked on the 1. And Campbell with the handoff, and of course, to Mr. Guarantee, Gerald Riggs, and take a look at him.
He's got his dance down, too. Oh, you wait till I talk to Gerald after the game.
Supposedly the shy one. So Gerald Riggs, with a little movement in those bones other than just running the ball, gives Atlanta their first score of the afternoon.
Shaves, we had the opportunity to see his young son out in practice the other day. He's a very nice-looking young man, and Gerald had to keep him under control because I guess he likes to run around, too. He's going to be a running back. But he didn't show us those kinds of moves in practice.
And for the point after, Mick Luckhurst holding David Archer, and it's up, and it's good. So we've got a tie ball game. The Falcons come right back and answer. And here's how they did it.
Gerald Riggs just comes off the left side of the offensive line. He gets an excellent block by Mike Ken there, and number 61, John Scully, seals it inside, and Gerald walks in style. Now here's the thing that you'd like to see, that little dance, and we'll be back in just a moment. Gerald Riggs.
All tied up in the first quarter, 1:34 remaining. And Marion Campbell, he says he would love nothing better than the luxury of just handing the ball off to Gerald Riggs. And it took place, 11 plays, 71 yards, 5 minutes, 10 seconds. And it's by Sikahema across the 20. He's still on his feet to about the 24-yard line. By Sikahema for the St. Louis Cardinals. And again, Gerald Riggs showing that he's got a little bit of excitement left in his old bones.
Yeah, he's just going to punch it off the left side. Like I said before, he gets great blocking out of his offensive line, and he just takes it in style. He also had a great block out of his backs. Hey, wait now. I'm going to have to get on Gerald about this, though. We have not seen that this season. He's just previewing something, and I'm sure he's getting ready for the Pro Bowl. He'll do a little bit more of it there.
1st and 10 for the Cardinals. Ball on their own 23. Lomax back to pass. Going up top. Complete to Roy Green. And Green knocked out of bounds at the 29-yard line of the Falcons. So in one play, the Cardinals come back with the big bomb to the old dangerous receiver, Roy Green.
James, we had talked to their players last night, the Cardinal players, and they said Roy Green is about 95% healthy. Here, he turns on the turbos and goes sideline, makes a nice long reception, and is still able to run after the reception. There, he pushes Scott Case, number 25, in the face and gets out of bounds cleanly.
A 48-yard pass play from Lomax to Green. And with J.T. Smith having such a strong year, that leaves Roy Green unguarded. He'll afford to do that. Farrell, the ball carrier, still on his feet. And Farrell, a tough one to bring down as he gets near the 26-yard line.
Earl Farrell broke about 4 tackles on that play. That's indicative of a team that's had a lot of injuries during the course of the season. And there you see the Atlanta defense's wounded birds. Curry, Wilkes, and Williams, Joel Williams, all starting linebackers. That's the reason why they had to go to the 4-3 instead of the 3-4. And then you see the other guys out of the secondary, Kaysen and Clark, and then Rick Bryant just entered this past week. He's a defensive lineman.
And a major reason why Atlanta has been experiencing woes. A pickup of 4, 2nd and 6, ball on the 25 of Atlanta. In motion, Robert Awalt, Lomax, back to pass, with time. Goes up top, looking for Awalt. He's got him. Touchdown, St. Louis. So Robert Awalt, a rookie tight end out of San Diego State, who's really given Lomax an additional weapon back there, comes through with a touchdown reception.
James, the key to the play, though, is that Neil Lomax has all kinds of time to pass. There he's sitting back looking for the 1 receiver, 2 receivers. Now he's going to that 3rd receiver, something he hasn't had in the past, a tight end that's going to catch the football. Robert Awalt's wide open in the corner of the end zone. It's tough for a linebacker like number 52, Rich Kranek, to keep up with a tight end that can run.
A 25-yard touchdown pass from Lomax to Robert Awalt moves the Cardinals back in front. That was his 4th touchdown pass this season to Robert Awalt of the 25-yard variety. And the kick by Jim Gallery is good, so the Cardinals move back out in front.
This guy, Awalt, is one of those players that does a lot of things for you. I saw him long snapping earlier before the game started. That's the kind of player he is. He knew he had to do a lot of things, and we had this saying in the NFL with the Bears, the more you can do, the longer you stay around.
And again, that 2nd touchdown throw in the game moves him into 2nd place behind Jim Hart. And a strong start, but take a look at the yardage on that, Danny.
That's getting maximum use out of your passing game. 7 catches, 169 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's the way you like to start the day.
And it's really amazing that he can rack up those kinds of numbers as he's done throughout this season with not much of a running game there.
Well, Neil felt yesterday when we talked to him that, this was going to be a big game for them, and more in particular, a big game for him. He felt like some good things were about to happen, and indeed, that's the situation that has unfolded. The resurgence of the birds, the Redbirds out of St. Louis.
And I was talking about Neil Lomax. Take a look, left-hand column, 1986. Those were his numbers throughout the entire season. He's played in 7 games, not including the 3 strike games. And take a look, his touchdowns now, 17. He's 4 ahead at this point of the season versus all of last season.
He's still got 5 games to go.
And back deep for Atlanta, Larry Emery. Emery takes it on the 10. He's across the 20, still on his feet, to about the 27-yard line. Larry Emery, rookie out of Wisconsin. Stopped that time by Johnson. So Atlanta will take over with the ball on their own 27-yard line.
James, one of the other things that Marion Campbell shared with us about his quarterback position is he would very much like to get Chris Miller into a football game at some point during the season, but they just have not had that opportunity down here in Atlanta. You're struggling to win games rather than worrying about getting somebody playing time. But he would love to have that luxury of getting Chris Miller in, their 1st-round draft choice at quarterback.
And this could be the last play of the 1st quarter. Campbell, the handoff to Riggs, and Riggs across the 30 before being stopped by Bob Clasby. And you mentioned about Coach Campbell wanting to get Chris Miller in there. Scott Campbell is hoping that he can do his best to keep that from happening. So at the end of the first quarter, the Cardinals move out in front of the Falcons by the score of 14-7. So we're back for the start of the second quarter here at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. The Falcons find themselves trailing by a touchdown to the Cardinals. Falcons have it, 2nd and 6, ball on their own 31. Campbell back to pass. Complete to Floyd Dixon. And Dixon has the first down yardage before being stopped by Johnny Holloway.
James, the Falcons have seemed to be picking out Floyd Dixon, number 86, as their featured receiver in the passing game. Stacey Bailey, who was their featured receiver earlier on, is out with some injuries, and as a result, they had to find another go-to guy, and number 86, Floyd Dixon, is it.
Their second season out of Stephen F. Austin. And Dixon this time split wide to the right. 1st and 10, ball on the 43. The ball carrier is Gerald Riggs, and Riggs, big gain straight up the gut. About a 6-yard pickup before being stopped by Rod Sadler. And Gerald Riggs looking like he can run all day long, looking very powerful.
Yeah, but guys like Rod Sadler, number 72 for the Cardinals, 6'5", 276, one of the bigger defensive ends in the league, and he told us that's one of the things that he thinks is going to make a big difference for him, is the fact that he's got size at defensive end, particularly rushing against the left tackles.
Cardinals pick up a 5, 2nd and 5. Scott Campbell back to pass again, hitting Riggs out of the backfield. Riggs complete across the 50 to the 49-yard line. E.J. Jr. on the stop. So Gerald Riggs showing his versatility coming out of the backfield.
E.J. Jr. did what a veteran linebacker will do. That time he prevented the running back, Gerald Riggs, from getting out to the first down territory. Now you saw him pulling him back, getting him away from that pylon and getting him away from first down territory. You see Indianapolis out in front of Houston, and the Jets 7-0 over Cincinnati.
Brings up a 3rd and 2. Ball on the 48. Campbell back to pass again. Complete, and it's dropped, but flags are every place. As Scott Campbell threw for Aubrey Matthews.
And Johnny Holloway, number 29, is pleading his case. He knows he probably got an interference call on the play. But that man...
Number 29, spot of the foul, first down.
Gene Tunney, he makes very few mistakes. Jim Tunney. The players used to call him the official. And here's a look at it. Now watch number 29 reach over right there. He's all over him like a cheap suit. Can't do that. Get 15 yards, Johnny Holloway. Johnny Holloway's out of Kansas, his 2nd-year player.
Brings up a 1st and 10 for the Falcons. Ball on the 39 of the Cardinals. Campbell back to pass again. Looking deep, going for Matthews again. Matthews with tight coverage, and Matthews did well just to try to knock the ball away from Johnny Holloway, who had a better angle on that pass than did Matthews.
James, that's what you ask your receivers to do. If they don't have an opportunity to catch the ball, they've got double coverage, and that time Scott Campbell threw into double coverage with Aubrey Matthews, number 83. Watch him now. He's just going to reach in front of Johnny Holloway, knock the ball away. If you can't get it, don't let anybody else have it. That's the idea. Just get greedy and slap it away.
Campbell seems to be mixing up the calls pretty nicely, getting some good productivity out of Gerald Riggs and trying to work his receivers, that is, as well.
He's doing a great job of that. And the other thing, like you said, he's working all the receivers, not just going to Floyd Dixon.
And Riggs, the ball carrier on 2nd and 10, turning the corner across the 35 to the 32-yard line. Gerald Riggs, about 2 yards shy of the first down marker, stopped by Greg Johnson.
James, those are the kinds of plays that happen when you have a successful passing game. When you can go downfield, then that loosens up that running game a little bit. Now, the other interesting thing to see is if the Falcons come back with some play action off of those same types of run fakes. That makes it a great deal easier on your offensive line. And there's Rod Dowhauer, former head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. Spent some time in St. Louis as well, 2 years of his life there with the Cardinals.
3rd and 2. Ball on the 31 of St. Louis. Riggs, the ball carrier, trying to turn the corner, and the ball is stripped loose from Gerald Riggs, and St. Louis recovers. So Gerald Riggs, trying to turn the corner, had the ball stripped from him. Nico Noga caused the fumble, and St. Louis recovers.
One of the things you teach your linebackers and your whole defense, as a matter of fact, is to tackle the football as well as the man. Number 57, Nico Noga, bounces off a couple of blocks, and here, watch that outside hand. He just rips it around, slaps the ball out of Gerald Riggs' hands, and number 29, Johnny Holloway, makes some retribution there by recovering the fumble before it got out of bounds. Had that ball gone out of bounds, it would have gone back to the Atlanta Falcons.
Strong play by Noga out of Hawaii, and St. Louis takes over. Second quarter action here at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, and the quick strike ability of the St. Louis Cardinals has them on top. The Atlanta Falcons by the score of 14-7, and Danny, Atlanta has done a pretty good job of getting into good scoring territory, but it's been miscues that's been hurting them.
James, that's kind of the story of Atlanta's season, too. They've had those problems when they are in scoring territory, and as a result, they haven't had much success on offense.
First and 10 situation, ball on the 44 of St. Louis. In motion, Roy Green. Lomax, the handoff to Stump Mitchell, and Mitchell goes across the 45 to about the 46-yard line. Danny, you know this young man, Claude Humphrey.
Yeah.
Former defensive player here with the Falcons. You know him quite well.
He was a big defensive end, and the thing that I remember about Claude Humphreys is he's got these huge hands, James, and he used to head slap with the best of them. He'd head slap you into the middle of next week with those hands.
My goodness gracious, a Harvard guy. Actually, my goodness, look at Danny. Nice hairdo, partner.
Yeah, you wait till I see our producers down in the truck. I'm going to rip his heart out.
And most people thought you were a nice guy. Second and 7, a pickup of 3. Lomax, back to pass. Pumps, complete to J.T. Smith. And Smith looks to have the first down with room to spare.
Now, James, if you thought I was something to look at in my Harvard days, now look at this guy here, James Brown, vintage 1973.
And there's no way that people would confuse me with the singer, right? Not even in terms of the hair.
All right, now we have to get our producer, Bob Monsbach, and our director, Bob Matina. We'll get some baby pictures.
Now, those would be real scary pictures indeed. Oh, okay. First down situation, Lomax going up top. And he's got Awalt, and Awalt is just shy of the first down. He's right near the marker. Robert Awalt on the receiving end of that pass from Neil Lomax, stopped by Robert Moore. And you know, one of the reasons that Robert Awalt is such an effective receiver, Danny, is that he used to be a quarterback in high school, so he knows how to read defenses very well, and he runs extremely well after he's caught the ball.
And he played college football at San Diego State that features a passing game. The Aztecs out there know how to throw the football, and that's where he learned it.
Pickup of 8, second and 2, ball on the 37 of Atlanta. Quick toss to J.T. Smith, and Smith with the first down and more near the 30-yard line. J.T. Smith stopped by Scott Case.
James, I was talking to the owner of the St. Louis Cardinals earlier today, Bill Bidwell, and he said JT is just a pleasure to have on the football team. Everybody likes him. He works so hard. He's a true example for all of the younger players. And there you see, over the last 2 seasons, no one in the NFL has caught more passes than J.T. Smith. 134. That's a lot of work.
He missed the Pro Bowl last year, but cannot miss it this year.
No, I think his name was written all over one of those wide receiver spots.
First and 10, ball on the 30 of Atlanta. St. Louis marching. Lomax back to pass. Going up top for Green, and it's incomplete. Roy Green was the intended receiver. Good coverage that time by both Tim Gordon and Bobby Butler.
James, it was good coverage, but I think Roy Green picked out the wrong time to jump. His timing's just a little off here. He takes one more step and then goes in the air. He has that pass. Just one step more. That's all Roy needed to have the touchdown.
Talk about a rare incompletion. Neil Lomax has been absolutely hot today. 7 St. Louis first downs, all of them in the air. Second and 10, ball on the 30 of Atlanta. Out of the pro set. Lomax, the handoff to Farrell, and Farrell just continuing to drive, and the good second effort by Earl Farrell gives St. Louis close to the first down yardage. Stopped by Tim Gordon.
Now what happens sometimes is when you're running the football like this and you get a blitz from the defense, when that running back breaks through the line of scrimmage, suddenly there's no one else back there. Number 31, Earl Farrell, missed by 52, Rich Cranack, and now he's off to the races. A couple of poor tackles back there by John Rady, number 59, and he gets the first down yardage, or very close to it, excuse me. Third down and about 1. There's Gene Stallings. He's looking for that play that's going to get him the first down yardage right about now.
Formation change again. 2 tight ends. The handoff goes to Farrell, and Farrell straight ahead. May be a play. No, as a matter of fact, no measurement needed. First down. So Earl Farrell gives the Cardinals first down yardage, stopped by Tony Casillas.
James, Lomax's last touchdown pass gives him 109 for his career. That's second place on the all-time Cardinals list of TD passes, and he's only behind Jim Hart, who has 209 as it turns out. He's got a little ways to go to catch Jimmy.
And that was the first rushing first down for the St. Louis Cardinals. Every other third down conversion came in the air. And flags everywhere that time against, the penalty will be against St. Louis. And it's been a pretty penalty-free ball game, but an illegal procedure call against St. Louis.
And this
Illegal
is
procedure on the center. 5 yards, still first down.
now that's an unusual one on the center because he's the guy that's got to snap the ball and get everybody else rolling. But apparently he must have moved either his hand rocking the ball or one of his feet to draw people off on defense.
First and 15, ball at the 24, 7:41 remaining in the second quarter. Up top for Roy Green, and Roy Green catches it, but he's out of bounds.
He was pushed out of bounds by number 25, Scott Case. Roy was only able to get 1 foot in, and he was going out as that one was coming in. He did not get both feet in, I don't believe, from my view up here in the stands. There you see him going up, and he gets both of them out of bounds. He wasn't even close.
That'll bring up a 2nd and 15 situation. Ball on the 24 of the Falcons. 7:34 remaining in the half. St. Louis on top, 14-7. Wide to the left, J.T. Smith. In the slot, Roy Green. Out of the shotgun, Neil Lomax. And Lomax decides to run it himself. And Lomax downs himself at the 15-yard line. Scott Case puts the hand on him for good measure.
Neil did a head-first slide. It looked like he played for the St. Louis baseball Cardinals on that play. Nice slide, though. I give him a 6.8.
And he's about 5 to 6 yards shy of the first down. That'll bring up a third down situation.
This is a tough territory now for your defense. You know, the second, third down area now is when you've got to stop the Cardinals if you're the Atlanta Falcons.
Third and 6. 2 receivers to the left. Lomax back to pass. Looking for Roy Green. No, he goes instead to J.T. Smith across the middle. And Smith with the first down catch and gets it just outside of the goal line to about the 1-yard line.
James, one of the things you have to do if you're the Atlanta Falcons is you have to play tough man-to-man defense when you're going to send your linebackers on the blitz. There you see number 84, J.T. Smith. He makes his break in off the rub there by 81, Roy Green, and he's open. He's wide open going to the end zone, and Scott Case is 3 steps behind him, makes the tackle, but it's too late. It's the Cardinals down on the 1-yard line, first down, 1 yard to go for the touchdown.
First and goal, ball at the 1. In motion, Stump Mitchell. And the handoff to Farrell. Touchdown, St. Louis. So the St. Louis Cardinals with Earl Farrell doing the honors and the dance.
And he's got
come up with their third score, and they lead the Falcons comfortably.
JB, everybody's got a new dance today. They must have had dance fever down here last night. Maybe we missed it at one of the clubs.
This is the town to do it in.
Now here you go, basic plunge off the right side. Number 31, Earl Farrell takes it in. Lead blocking there. And boy, does he get across that line of scrimmage with extra second effort. He still isn't across the line of scrimmage, but he punches it across later on, believe me.
Jim Gallery with the point after attempt. It's up, and it's good. So the Cardinals, with their third touchdown score, lead the Falcons 21-7, 5:56 remaining in the first half.
It is a rivalry as celebrated and time-honored as the sport of college football itself. The Army-Navy game next Saturday on CBS Sports.
We're coming to you live from Fulton County Stadium, where the Falcons are trailing the Cardinals by 14 points. And Danny, it's been the quick strike ability of the Cardinals that's helped them to get out in front by the score of 21-7.
Well, Neil Lomax has done most of it on the strength of his arm. 2 touchdown passes, 206 yards passing. He's had a great day so far, as well as his receivers.
Back deep for Atlanta. Larry Emery takes it at the 2. He's across the 10 to the 15, and Larry Emery down just shy of the 20-yard line. Call it the 19. So Atlanta will take over with Scott Campbell at the helm. And one more time, the touchdown run.
Stum Mitchell here takes it in off the right side, just punches it right in. Errol Farrell, number 31, he just takes it in on a second and third effort, still standing up, still fighting to get in the end zone. He breaks the plane and just dives on in for the score.
1st and 10, ball on the 19 for the Falcons. In motion, Middleton. Campbell back to pass. Under pressure, has to get rid of it. The intended receiver was Gerald Riggs, but Scott Campbell was under all kinds of pressure and picks himself up off of the turf. And Danny, I may not have mentioned it before, but Cedric Mack is not in the ball game. He's been out for a while, sprained his ankle. His status for the second half is questionable.
In that position that he plays at cornerback, you do not want to be out there with something like your foot is hurting you, because it's all running at the corner.
Now, when you look at the size of that wrap, I don't think there's too much question as to whether or not he'll be back. 2nd and 10, ball on the 19 of Atlanta. 5:42 remaining in the first half. Back to pass. Campbell, and Campbell overthrows Aubrey Matthews.
The key there was number 75, Curtis Greer, came in, and on the screen pass, you did not want those defensive ends up in your quarterback's face. Curtis Greer right directly in Scott Campbell's face. Had to try to throw the ball over Curtis Greer, number 75. This is a pass that we mentioned earlier, James, that Scott Campbell has a little bit of a problem with, throwing to his backs, more particularly on the screen. There you see the big defensive end right in his face, and he has to loft it up high, cannot get it into the running back.
And Atlanta, 3 of 4 on third down conversions with 3 wideouts in. Scott Campbell out of the shotgun. Campbell with time and overthrows the intended receiver, Charlie Brown. And you hear the boos coming from the fans here in Atlanta.
James, I have a feeling, though, that Scott Campbell is one of those young men that's not going to let that type of thing affect him. He's going to continue to do what Marion Campbell told him was the game plan, what Rod Dowhauer, the offensive coordinator, said they were going to try to accomplish, and just stick with it. Can't pay too much attention to the other stuff.
And Danny, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first punt of the ball game. Just saw a picture there of Vi Sikahema. Punting for Atlanta is Rick Donnelly, who leads the NFL in punting with a 45.6-yard average. And Sikahema takes it at the 41. And he's got a little room. He's across midfield. Sikahema still running. And Vi Sikahema run out of bounds by the punter, Rick Donnelly. So St. Louis will take over with good field position when we return. St. Louis on top of Atlanta, 21-7, 5:21 remaining in the first half. And St. Louis showing its quick strike ability. Able to put points on the board in a hurry. 1st and 10, ball on the 34 of Atlanta. In motion, Earl Farrell. Lomax, back to pass. Complete to J.T. Smith. And J.T. Smith looks to have the first down. As you take a look at Marion Campbell, and boy, would he love to have back a couple of situations where the Falcons hurt themselves And the graphic tells a story. They hurt themselves with fumbles.
You know, you cannot keep wounding yourself if you're a team that's only won 2 football games in the course of the whole season. That's what Atlanta has been doing to themselves, unfortunately, for them and for Marion Campbell. James, one of the things to look for in the passing game of the St. Louis Cardinals is J.T. Smith working underneath after those linebackers drop back in the zones. Neil Lomax has been finding them all day.
And Stump Mitchell, the ball carrier on 1st and 10, and he gets nowhere. He's dropped back around the line of scrimmage. So Stump Mitchell, again, not able to put together the kind of yardage that he has in years past, Danny. But some of the reason for that is that he's got a couple of inexperienced guys along the left-hand side of that line. Derek Kennard at center and Todd Peter, rookie, whom the Cardinals are very pleased with. But again, he still is a rookie. That'll bring up a 2nd down situation. 2nd and 9. Ball on the 21 of Atlanta. Lomax, back to pass, with time, pumps. And the intended receiver was Robert Awalt. The ball went over his head, incomplete.
It appeared that Robert Awalt just stopped running for a second after he had made his cut, and that was the reason why the ball went past him. It appeared that Neil Lomax was throwing directly to the spot where he was supposed to be.
And the Jets nursing a 3-point lead over the Bengals, 10-7. Sam White's hoping for a victory there. Buffalo with a 1-touchdown lead there. Jamie Mueller, 54-yard run. Brings up a 3rd and 9 situation. St. Louis 5 of 6 on 3rd down conversions with 4 wideouts in. Lomax going up top, looking for Troy Johnson, and it's incomplete. So Atlanta's defense holds. Scott Case with good coverage that time on Troy Johnson.
Scott Case, the 4th-year man out of Oklahoma, had excellent coverage on Troy Johnson that time, all the way to the post. He knew that's where he was going, to the corner route, knew that's where he was going, and stayed with it all the way.
So that brings up a 4th down situation for the Cardinals and Jim Gallery. Take a look there, not a particularly distinguished year in terms of accuracy. This will be a 38-yard field goal attempt by Jim Gallery.
As every field goal kicker will tell you, the only one that counts is the one that they're kicking right now.
And it's blocked. And the ball is still alive, apparently. And the ball is down all the way back to the 28-yard line of St. Louis.
It's the Falcons' ball.
Dennis Harrison appeared to be the Falcon who blocked the punt.
Watch, right down the middle of the screen. Who gets that big paw up and slaps the ball down? Jim Gallery's field goal is blocked right there. Number 68, Dennis Harrison, blocks the kick. And now the chase is on. Everybody's after the ball. Now it's slap time. See how far you can push it down the field. It's kicked there by Scott Case. Gene Chilton, number 74, can't recover it for the St. Louis Cardinals, and now it's finally recovered by the Falcons, and first down for the Atlanta Falcons.
And Dennis Harrison taking kudos on the sideline. Danny, good hustle on the part of the Falcons. 1st and 10, ball on the 28 of St. Louis.
The Falcons need some kind of a spark. This should provide it for their offense.
John Settle, the ball carrier, and he gets good yardage going straight ahead near the 25-yard line. John Settle, a big rookie. Weight-wise, anyway, 5'9", 207 out of Appalachian State, 22 years old.
He's running behind the right side of that offensive line. Bill Fralick out of Pitt. He's the all-pro, number 79. Number 73 is Leonard Mitchell, 6'7", 295 pounds. He's out of the University of Michigan.
Now, the initial word is that Gerald Riggs is out right now with a bruised shoulder, and that could be a big play, big situation for the Falcons. Middleton in motion. Campbell rolling left. Complete to Aubrey Matthews. Touchdown, Atlanta Falcons. So Scott Campbell on the rollout to the left finds Aubrey Matthews with a 25-yard touchdown pass, and they're back within striking distance.
James, out of the right side of your screen, you're going to see Aubrey Matthews, number 83, beat the one-on-one coverage. Scott Campbell does a nice job of rolling out. We saw them do this in practice the other day. One-on-one coverage, nobody can get there except Aubrey Matthews, number 83, touchdown. And he beats Carl Carter, number 41, the cornerback for the St. Louis Cardinals.
And Mick Luckhurst with the point after, and it's good. So the Falcons move within one touchdown of the St. Louis Cardinals thanks to that great pass play between Scott Campbell and Aubrey Matthews. Matthews in only his second year out of Delta State. 2:45 remaining in the first half.
You see Jim Hannafin congratulating him.
Coming up next Saturday on CBS Sports, we very proudly present two of college football's greatest traditions. Starting live at 2 o'clock, it'll be the 88th meeting between Army and Navy. Then live from the Downtown Athletic Club in New York City, CBS Sports will cover the announcement of this year's Heisman Trophy Award winner. A very special day indeed of college football coming up next Saturday right here on CBS Sports.
And James, I understand you're going to be at that Heisman Trophy show, and I'm expecting a full report after the show, of course.
Well, Danny, speaking of report, Tim Brown didn't have a particularly great day yesterday against Miami. Do you think the fact that he dropped 3 balls that are hurt in the Heisman balloting?
James, I don't think so. I believe all of the voting is really done in everyone's mind. If anyone watched CBS yesterday, they know that the players that we had on yesterday, Craig Haywood, Ironhead Haywood, and all those guys, they are all voting for one another. No one mentioned Tim Brown. Maybe a little bit of a reaction to the fact that he went to Notre Dame. They feel that the Notre Dame players get an unfair advantage.
And you take a look at Scott Case being carted off of the field, left ankle problems there, and you couple that with the fact that Gerald Riggs, as I mentioned before, who's had 15 rushes for 60 yards in 1 touchdown, he's got a bruised shoulder, and he's questionable. And, of course, Tony Casillas with a bit of a problem.
And Tony Casillas has gotten an x-ray of his left lower leg, and we don't know right now whether or not he'll return to the ball game.
McAdoo across the 30. McAdoo, good move. And Derek McAdoo stopped by the kicker, Mick Luckhurst, but not before he picks up good sizable yardage and gets it across to the 43-yard line. Derek McAdoo showing some basketball type moves. As a matter of fact, he's the cousin of former NBA star Bob McAdoo.
I knew you'd work some of that NBA. James, many people don't know that coming out of Harvard in 1973, you were drafted by the Atlanta Hawks in the 4th round with Pete Maravich and all the rest of those guys. How did it work out for you down there, big guy?
Not very well. That's why I'm announcing.
I think you made the right decision.
1st and 10 for the Cardinals. Ball on the 43. In motion, Roy Green. Lomax, back to pass. Complete to Roy Green, and Green runs it out of bounds at the 40, call it the 47, 48-yard line. And, of course, this is the first game of a big doubleheader day here on CBS. Coming up next, those of you will see the New York Giants against the Washington Redskins, and a lot of question marks in that game.
James, I understand Lawrence Taylor didn't even go down for the game, go down to Washington for the game. Bill Sims will play for the Giants, and then Doug Williams is out of quarterback for the Redskins.
And he had the starting position. 2nd and 3. Ball on their own 48. Lomax back to pass. Complete to J.T. Smith for the first down. So J.T. Smith continuing to show how valuable he is. Danny, it's hard to believe that J.T. Smith was a pickup off of waivers back in 1985 after being dropped by Kansas City.
He was given up by the same Kansas City Chiefs who are right now looking for leadership both offensively and defensively. That's something that J.T. provided for them as well as special teams.
And look at those numbers, that in the first half only. 2:25 remaining in the first half. Lomax, the handoff goes to Earl Farrell, who spins and goes back. A flag on the play. Farrell still on his feet and gets it across to the 39-yard line, stopped by Mike Gann, but there is a flag on the play.
And generally what happens when you reverse the field like that is you get a holding penalty or blocking from behind. And there's Mr. Tenney with the indication. James, we just got a report. Scott Case, the cornerback, left ankle x-ray, condition uncertain at this point.
Holding, offense, 10 yards, still first down.
Danny, as a former offensive lineman with the Chicago Bears, how is it that you're able to pick out all the holding calls?
Well, you know, I had so many of them during my career, I can just feel one coming. James, that's what you like to see along that offensive line. You can look at the backs of those offensive linemen. They got a lot back there. See, that's what's important, to have that big anchor for an offensive lineman.
And this play will not be run before the 2-minute warning is sounded. And St. Louis is leading it by a touchdown. We'll be back in just a moment. Good ball game here in Atlanta. The Falcons within one touchdown of the Cardinals, 21-14, as you take a look at Stump Mitchell.
And James Stump is wearing one of those space guards, the eye guards that I talked about there. He's got his tinted, so you know, they're like shades now. They knock out a little bit of that sunlight, but also they keep the defensive linemen's fingers out importantly.
Smart move indeed. First and 20 for the Cardinals.
I always wanted to get one of those.
47.
I always wanted to get one of those so you could look like Darth Vader, you know.
Add to the meanness. And a flag is thrown on the play.
Ball start. Right guard. 5 yards.
And that penalty against the St. Louis Cardinals. We're live here at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. I'm James Brown along with Dan Jiggets, and the Cardinals, quick strike ability in the air, lead the Atlanta Falcons 21-14. 2 minutes remaining in the first half.
James,
Danny, it's been a pretty penalty-free game today, but injuries have been the story.
And then you see Atlanta's got more than their share. Add those to the ones they had coming into the game, and that tells the story of their defense.
On first and 25, Lomax complete to J.T. Smith.
James, this is when your defense particularly feels the bite of all of those injuries. Hurry-up offense, experienced quarterback like Neil Lomax back there for the Cardinals, and these guys on the Falcons defense just aren't ready for it.
And Lomax with time galore, complete to Earl Farrell, and Farrell has the first down, run out of bounds by John Rady. Smart move that time by Farrell, obviously, to take it out of bounds down near the 10-yard line, and plenty of time remaining.
Neil Lomax, an experienced quarterback, number 15 here, avoids a little bit of a rush, moves out of the pocket, finds the open man, goes outside, and there you see him lofting it up. Tough pass to throw right over to John Rady, number 59, and Earl Farrell does a smart thing. With 1 minute 34 seconds left on the clock, he gets out of bounds.
Mark it down as a 36-yard pass pickup. First and 10, ball on the 11-yard line. Lomax, back to pass, with time, still with time. Goes up top, throwing to the corner. Robert Awalt was in the vicinity, but incomplete.
James, I'm seeing something that I really like with the St. Louis Cardinals offensive line. You see how much time Neil Lomax has to throw the football. Reminds me of back in the old days when you used to go back, Dan Dearnoff and all those guys along that offensive line, Conrad Dobler. Quarterbacks like Jim Hart had all day to throw the football, and that's what's happening with Neil Lomax. Look at the numbers,
and
16 to 23.
Those numbers, 279 yards, compares with Lomax averaging 291 yards per game. Second and 10. Lomax going up top for J.T. Smith, and Smith turns around and looks back at Lomax, but the ball was thrown deep into the corner.
Neil, it appeared, was throwing the ball away. He figured that J.T. was not going to get open in time and just felt that that was his best move at that point.
That'll bring up a third down situation. Now, Danny, the ball is marked on the 10-yard line, bringing up a third down situation.
It brings up another school of thought, too. When you're down in this position, you can get another first down before you score the touchdown. That's the nice thing about being on that 11-yard line, is do you run to try to get to the first down first of all, and then second, you try to throw it into the end zone.
St. Louis 5 of 7 on third down conversions. Lomax back to pass. Looking for Awalt. Incomplete. Robert Awalt was the intended receiver, covered that time by Robert Moore.
Now, on the lower right-hand part of your screen, you're going to see Neil Lomax on the inset there. Watch the protection he gets from that offensive line, and watch him check out all those receivers. He's going down 1, 2, 3, picks out that tight end as the third receiver, just barely misses Robert Awald, number 80.
So St. Louis will try and expand their lead to 10. Jim Gallery will attempt a 29-yard field goal attempt. It's up, and it's good. So Jim Gallery gets this one away successfully, and the Cardinals benefit. They lead the Falcons by 10. So the Cardinals, on the strength of that 29-yard field goal by Jim Gallery, lead the Falcons by 10. 1:13 remaining in the first half, and don't forget, coming up at the half, Brent Musburger and Irv Cross in our New York studio will be along with scores and highlights from around the league.
And also a little bit of preview of what's coming up next on CBS, and that's that doubleheader, the Giants and the Redskins down in Washington. That ought to be exciting.
Light crowd here today, but Danny, they're getting their money's worth. A good ball game here in the first half, and we talked again at the top of the show about how both of these teams were pretty confident coming in here. Are you pleased with the kind of enthusiasm you're seeing on the part of the Atlanta players?
Well, I think you're seeing a lot of enthusiasm on their part. They've had a couple of tough breaks where they've dropped the football a couple of times, turned it over. But other than that, I think that Marion Campbell's got to be very pleased with the way his team has been playing. Not getting a whole lot of pressure on that quarterback, though. That's something we'll talk about later in the draft for the Falcons.
And Major Everett takes it across the 20-yard line to about the 21 for the Falcons. So the Cardinals, obviously they've got some incentive, as we mentioned before, an outside shot at a wild card playoff position. And Danny, also, a number of the players are pretty candid about the conversation that owner Bill Bidwell, as you take a look at him right now, had with them about how important it is to win, even if they are to move.
Well, James, I talked to Bill earlier today, and he said that right now there are no new developments on that move. But I can't believe that the city of St. Louis and how they've had this relationship with the Cardinals over the years are going to allow them to get away. I'm sure they're going to come to some kind of an agreement.
Scott Campbell back to pass on 1st and 10. Intended receiver was Charlie Brown. The ball thrown slightly behind Charlie Brown.
James, in Bill Bidwell's defense, the way that professional sports is going today, you've got to be able to make some money in order to compete in the league. And I can understand his feeling where he needs to get the luxury boxes and that type of a thing. And St. Louis has got to stand up and take notice and say, hey, look, we can't let our Cardinals get away from us. We've got to do whatever we can to keep them here.
Well, the fans say you've got to provide us with the winner, and they haven't sold out the luxury boxes they have there. 2nd and 10, ball on the 24 of Atlanta. Campbell back to pass. And the intended receiver was John Settle, but the ball thrown over his head, incomplete. And Cedric Mack, the young man that we said had the big wrap around his left ankle.
I guess his ankle got cooled off and he got back into the ball game. Number 47, Cedric Mack, back in the cornerback.
Campbell back on 3rd down, under pressure. He escapes. Campbell on the run. He's got the 1st down, so Scott Campbell decides to take it on the run. Had no choice under pressure that time as Freddie Joe Nunn stopped him, but not before Scott Campbell picked up the 1st down.
And there was excellent pressure by number 79, Bob Clasby. And there you'll see House, they call him, right in the middle of your screen. Number 79 does a spin move right on the line of scrimmage and beats Bill Fralick, number 79. Gets Scott Campbell flushed out of the pocket. Now Scott's off to the races, and now he's going to be brought down by number 78, Freddie Joe Nunn, who's in pursuit.
Not a bad first half for Scott Campbell, 8 of 16 for 100 yards and 1 touchdown. And Atlanta with 2 timeouts to use. You see the time remaining, hoping to get into field goal territory to try to make this game a little closer.
Well, with 2 timeouts remaining for them, you know that Scott Campbell's got to work the sidelines. Chances are he's going to try to work it a little bit to his running backs, try to get those little clips of 15 and 20 yards out of the running backs, and then go for your strike downfield, go for the end zone.
Scott Campbell was very honest with us as well last night, Danny, talking about how he really is approaching, or rather in the middle of the season, he's kind of got mixed feelings. Obviously, he's feeling bad that the team has not won many games, but he's also very pleased that he's gotten a lot of playing time because it's helped him as a performer.
It's helped him as a performer, and I think it's helped the Falcons offense because now they have a quarterback who's gaining that game time experience, and that's when you really get better at it.
1st and 10 for the Falcons. 4 wideouts in. Campbell with time. Complete. And out of bounds goes Larry Emery. Larry Emery on the reception that time takes it out of bounds. Stopped by Lonnie Young. And don't forget, coming up at halftime, Brent Musburger and Herb Cross will be along with scores and highlights. And actor Dennis Quaid recently found out how tough it was to make a football movie. And of course, you remember him from the movie The Big Easy and Suspect. More coming your way at halftime.
I saw a little special on that earlier in the weekend. He took a little bit of a beating down there.
Trips to the right. 2nd and 4. And Campbell does not get away this time. And your man, Bob Clasby, who was in on the pressure the first time, catches him this time.
Bob Clasby out of Notre Dame. His dad was, as it turns out, was a captain of the Harvard football team in '53, roommates with Teddy Kennedy back there during that time period. From the end zone there, you see number 79, Bob Clasby working against Phil Freilich again. And the key to this play is now Scott Campbell can't throw when he wants to. As a result, he's got to pull it down and try to run, and Clasby's right there on top of him. Not Freilich's fault.
You got a lot of information in on that particular play. What was that again about Bob Clasby and that Kennedy tie-in?
Well, his dad was captain of the Harvard football team back in '53, and his dad was also roommates with Ted Kennedy at that same time at Harvard. Now, there's more to that story, and if the second half gets slow, we will definitely get to that. Just want to warn all you viewers ahead of time.
So I got your hint. We'll save the rest of it until then. 34 seconds remaining in the half. Atlanta with a 3rd and 15 situation. Trying to see if they can get within field goal range. Campbell back to pass. Complete to Floyd Dixon. But he's about 11 yards shy of the first down. Not quite the play they were looking for.
Lonnie Young made excellent coverage on that play. The reason why Scott Campbell had to select that receiver is because he was running out of time and running for his life. And as a result, he wasn't able to afford himself the comfort of looking downfield, going for those deep receivers.
That'll bring up a 4th down situation and a punting one.
As they say, is when you're in the swamp and you're up to your ears in alligators, it's hard to remember that your original intent was to drain the swamp.
And it appears that St. Louis actually called that timeout to force the punt. Rick Donnelly in the punt for the Falcons. Back for the Cardinals by Sikahema. And Sikahema is among the league's best with a 10.2 average on punt returns. And he is dangerous. Atlanta gets it away. Sikahema at the 18. And can't evade the on-rush of tacklers. A flag on the play. Sikahema was dropped by John Rady, and that was a big hit coming from Rady.
He was dropped by John Rady, and he was really, really stuck on that play. And also he had help from, I believe it was one of the other linebackers, and I'll get his number for you in a minute.
And Jim Tunney will have the information for us.
Fouls on both teams. Ineligible player number 53 downfield early. Personal foul, clipping number 53 on White on the run back. We'll replay the down, 4th down.
James, the play was made by Doug Barnett, number 53 for Atlanta. And he's one of the backup centers, 6'4", 260 out of Azusa Pacific. And here's the play. Sikahema gets the punt, starts on his run back, and he can't outrun the coverage. And there you see number 53 there, Doug Barnard gets a nice stick on him. I think that the penalty must have been upfield and not there at the point of the infraction. Offsetting penalties, re-punt the ball. Rick Donnelly back.
Boy, a tough hit to take for offsetting penalties.
You at least want to get something out of it.
A low snap, and the ball is lost. And recovering is St. Louis, Lonnie Young. So a heck of a lot better than a punt return as far as St. Louis is concerned, and it was a low snap that time.
James, think about this. Number 53, Doug Barnett, is the snapper on punts. Now, he just made the coverage downfield. Got to come back, reset it, and snap it again. This time his snap is off. That's all it takes to throw those centers off. They get tired running down the field. Got to come back and snap it again, and this time it's disaster.
Well, it appears with Jim Gallery in that St. Louis is not even going to attempt to play. They're going to go ahead and try the field goal attempt.
Well, they've only got 6 seconds left on the clock, so you can understand their thinking on that part.
And it'll be a 43-yard field goal attempt by Jim Gallery. He's had one block. He gets it away. And it's no good. So Jim Gallery, with a 43-yard field goal attempt, misses it, and that'll bring the first half to a close.
He makes field goal kicking into an art form here. We've got 1 second left on the clock, and the Atlanta Falcons will get one more shot at it. Now, do they just run out the clock, or do you go for Big Ben if you're the Atlanta Falcons?
And Marion Campbell has to be signed. Just a little bit of relief there.
Yeah, Swampy just breathed a sigh of relief, said thank goodness he missed that one. They call him the Swamp Fox, James.
And Campbell's going to try to get one away. He's got 3 receivers going down the right-hand side. And it's caught by Aubrey Matthews on the tip, but all to no avail. Pretty play. Nothing doing. So now we're at the end of the first half. With the score, the St. Louis Cardinals on top by 10.
It's a typical Green Bay Packers Chicago Bear war in Soldier Field. Kevin Butler kicks a 21-yard field goal. The Bears and the Packers are deadlocked at 10. And Irv Randy Wright is only 3 of 11, but one of them was big.
Well, I tell you, people up in Green Bay are beginning to compare him already to Bart Starr. We know it's premature for that, but he has made some big plays for Green Bay, and he seems to be getting better season to season. Here he is, early in the game, connecting with number 87, Walter Stanley, down the sideline for a 66-yard reception, setting up the first Green Bay scoring opportunity from the 3-yard line.
Jim McMahon fumbling the handoff and Brian Noble recovering, and that set up the Green Bay Packer field goal. And then late in the going, it was the Bears and Kevin Butler, and they are now tied at 10. New Orleans and Pittsburgh. The Steelers, a home team underdog, dangerous in this spot, and the Saints have been so high for the last couple of weeks. This is what the Steelers do best, Irv.
Take the ball away. Yes, indeed. The Saints haven't done this very much this year, throwing interceptions, but this time Dwayne Woodruff picks one off and goes in the end zone. It's the 4th time this year the Steelers have done that.
And it's 14-3, Steelers with the lead. Houston and Indianapolis. Eric Dickerson has run in touchdowns for the 19 and the 13 for the Colts. Take a look at the AFC East standings. A point to be made about all 5 teams being tied. They're not really tied. Indianapolis has by far the best record within the division. They are 5-2. The Dolphins today are facing elimination because you would think now that only one team is going to make the playoffs. Therefore, if you can't win it outright, you've got to have the best division record to crack a tiebreaker, and I think the Dolphins are in trouble. Cincinnati and the Jets have lost 3 ties within the division right now, but they do lead the Bengals 17-10 at the half there. Now, Philadelphia and New England, the Patriots have lost only twice within the division. This is out of the division. Now, Tom Ramsey here to Tony Collins, who slips out of the backfield, a 24-yard scoring strike, and the Patriots went ahead, but then it was Randall Cunningham's turn.
Well, the first half, Cunningham threw the ball 10 times, completed 6 of them for 139 yards. and 1 touchdown. There it is right there to Mike Quick, a 61-yarder for the score.
And he also ran in a 2nd touchdown for him in that game, too. Now, here's the big one in the AFC East. Miami with 4 division losses. The Bills with 3. Jim Kelly with 2 touchdown passes. Dan Marino shut out so far and 1 interception. St. Louis and Atlanta. And the score is 24-14 at the half, Irv.
Well, I tell you, Neil Lomax, I think, is having a Pro Bowl year. No one has thrown for more passing yardage this year than Lomax except Montana. Here he hits Troy Johnson on a touchdown pass from 49 yards out. And then, of course, the Falcons come back with Gerald Riggs from 1 yard out to get back in the ball game.
One dance deserves another. 24-14, Cardinals lead the Falcons. How about the Skins game? It's over, and Lee Trevino skinned everybody. $310,000 he pockets, $175,000 for a hole-in-one. Nicholas and Zeller, $70,000 apiece, and the great Arnold Palmer is shut out. The NFL Today continues after these messages from your local stations.
Here at halftime in Atlanta, where the Falcons trail the St. Louis Cardinals by the score of 24-14. And Danny, as I mentioned before, kind of going back to the theme at the top of the show that perhaps St. Louis had more incentive to perform well. They've certainly put the numbers on the board, but Atlanta hasn't looked that bad.
Atlanta really hasn't looked that bad. Now, they've had a couple of miscues that have hurt them greatly, and the result of that is, as you can see, the turnovers: fumble, touchdown, fumble, missed field goal. Finally, they got lucky. But that's been the story for the Atlanta Falcons. The big story for the St. Louis Cardinals has been quarterback Neil Lomax. Here you see him dropping back, and he's going to find his receiver, Troy Johnson, number 87. It's the first of 3 touchdown passes. He goes deep downfield. Troy Johnson beats the double coverage and takes it into the end zone in great style. And the nice thing about this is he's got a good dance after the score, JB.
Well, the score was 21-7, but Scott Campbell did come back, and he helped to rally the Falcons, and he found one of his favorite targets, Aubrey Matthews.
Scott Campbell on the rollout here. Rolls to left. Tough position to throw in for a right-handed quarterback, but boy, does he squeeze it down to Aubrey Matthews. He beats the coverage, and he gets the quick score.
And, of course, St. Louis came back with the field goal to make it 24-14. Now, in the first half, both of these quarterbacks, pretty good day, but, of course, well, pretty good day, that's a gross understatement as far as Neil Lomax is concerned.
He's had a great day. 16 of 25, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns. Most quarterbacks will be happy with that kind of statistical lineup for the whole football game. And then you see Scott Campbell, not too shabby, 11-19, 142 yards, not a bad outing right now for him.
Injuries were a big part of that first half as well, with the number of players going down. Scott Case and Tony Casillas, we saw them both taken off of the field at halftime for x-rays, and fortunately they were proven negative, but they will not return to action in the second half.
And that just adds to the headaches for Marion Campbell. You know, you start thinking about how many injuries he's had on the defense already. This just adds to the problem for him. So the Atlanta Falcons as a defense have to really start buckling up and finding some other players who are going to be able to stop these guys on offense.
Given that the Falcons are down, what kind of prescription for the second half for them?
Well, I think the Falcons have got to get something going on offense, score very quickly.
CBS Sports' coverage of the National Football League will continue after this message and a word from your local station. And we're back with the start of the third quarter of action from Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. Falcons trailing by 10 to the St. Louis Cardinals. And Danny, we talked about injuries earlier being a big part of that first half. Cedric Mack did return for the Cardinals. You saw the big wrap on his ankle. Scott Case and Tony Casillas, as we mentioned, x-rays proved negative. They will not be back in the second half. Gerald Riggs, he left out in the first half after being poked in the eye. We don't know his status.
Well, I think Gerald Riggs has got the shoulder, James, but we don't know whether or not he's going to be back into the football game. Big part of the Atlanta Falcons offense, major part of their offense. And then you get a look at Neil Lomax, who was a big part of the Cardinals offense, has had an exceptional day. And there are the numbers again, just beautiful. I would settle for those on any day for a whole football game. And Neil Lomax still has the second half to go.
And something that we didn't talk about in the first half is perhaps one of the reasons for the strong performance this year by Neil Lomax was when he found out they had Kelly Stouffer as the #1 draft choice. Back deep for the Falcons, Larry Emery takes it in his own end zone. Across the 10, he's got room. Larry Emery, one more man to go by. He's across the 40. There is a flag on the play, but Larry Emery gets the Cardinals started off in strong fashion as he takes it across the 40 to about the 37 of St. Louis. But we'll have to await the call from the official with that flag down on the play.
James, he got slow walked by number 53, Wayne Davis. He's a linebacker out of Alabama for the Cardinals, and he just tracked him down. And there he is. Larry Emery takes the ball out of the end zone. Dangerous thing to do, but boy, does he get a good break on this. Nice clean blocking up front. His wedge gives him a hole to run in, and he just takes off, gets rid of Jim Gallery right there, just throws him aside. And now he's heading downfield, but watch him get slow walked by number 53, Wayne Davis. You don't expect linebackers to catch running backs, and Wayne Davis got the face mask late on the play. Here's the face mask. Watch him grab the face mask right here and just pull Larry Emery down to the turf. Now, that was an unintentional one, I believe, so it's only 5 yards.
A 65-yard return, ball marked on the 31. 1st and 10 for the Falcons. Campbell back to pass and intercepted. Anthony Bell picks off Scott Campbell's pass, and he fumbles the ball. And who recovers? E.J. Jr. recovers for St. Louis, and the fans let the Falcons know exactly how they feel. A 65-yard return by Larry Emery, all for naught as they blow it right here.
You see Scott Campbell now. Left side of your screen, you're going to see number 55, Anthony Bell, just walk right in front of the receiver, Aubrey Matthews, makes a beautiful interception, kind of laying back in that zone. We had talked earlier about how they wanted to work underneath of that zone, and there E.J. Jr. very alertly picks up the fumble after Anthony Bell has made it off of the interception.
And the Falcons hurt themselves once again. A golden opportunity, their 4th turnover.
Offensively or defensively, I don't care what you're doing. You cannot have those kinds of mistakes and those kinds of numbers. 4-1 is just tough to beat, to come from behind and win a football game under those circumstances.
Earl Farrell in motion. St. Louis, 1st and 10. Hand off to Stump Mitchell. Stump Mitchell wrapped up and slammed to the ground. Give the credit to big Dennis Harrison. And a flag is on the play.
Even when you do something right, you get something wrong. Dennis Harrison made an excellent play there, but I believe they're going to call unnecessary roughness on him for slinging the running back to the field.
Well, my question to you, Danny, is, was that just a good aggressive play, or did it look to you as if it was
I think it was a good aggressive play. I think at some point or another you have to stop blowing whistles and throwing flags.
Personal foul, 68, unnecessary roughness.
And let the players play football. That's a ridiculous call. That's the way I feel about it. Dennis Harrison here is just going to grab a hold of Earl Farrell, and he's going to put him to the ground. That's what he's got to do as a defensive lineman. Now, because Stump Mitchell there, rather number 30, because he's small, he flies a little bit further than most people would. But Bigfoot's just trying to make the stop.
Well, no matter. St. Louis will get the benefit of the play and the call. 1st and 10, ball at the 49 of St. Louis.
James, it's those kind of calls that are going to ruin football at some point or another. You're taking the aggressiveness out of the game.
Lomax back to pass. Complete to Farrell out of the backfield. And Farrell with about an 8-yard pickup before being run out of bounds by Robert Moore. Now let's go to New York and Brent Musburger for an update.
James, the New Orleans Saints on the comeback trail here against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They get a touchdown. Mays runs to the flag and scores. A lot of time left. They trail the Steelers by 4. Back to James.
And New Orleans, certainly one of the big surprises of the season, playing extremely well.
But Jim Finks and Jim Moore are down there. Jim Finks being the general manager, Moore, the head coach, done an exceptional job with that team.
And on 1st and 10, the ball carrier was Earl Farrell. Farrell again, and Farrell goes straight ahead. And he looks to be right near that 1st down marker.
I was surprised at that call. I expected Neil Lomax with 2nd down, short yardage to go kind of deep, maybe try some play action passes there, at least get his receivers downfield. But he got the 1st down. That's the most important thing.
And give the credit to Earl Farrell. And Danny, I mentioned briefly in the first half again that one of the reasons for the difficulty in the running game for St. Louis is that they've got a couple of inexperienced guys up there on the line. Todd Pete and Derek Kennard. Kennard, a natural guard, playing center. Good pass blockers, but a little tough right now learning with run blocking. 1st and 10, ball on the 29 of Atlanta. Lomax with plenty of time. Goes up and connects with J.T. Smith. And it looks to be a first down from here. Bobby Butler on the stop. And St. Louis continuing to march strong. All tied up in Green Bay with Green Bay and Chicago.
Kevin Butler kicked a 21-yard field goal on that one. And Houston had Gary Hogan 2 touchdown passes, 1 to Albert Bentley, 2 to Albert Bentley, 72 and 22 yards, James.
1st and 10, ball marked on the 15-yard line. Farrell, the ball carry. Pickup maybe of 2. And the Jets leading Cincinnati by a touchdown. That in the 3rd quarter.
And boy, do they need a win in that AFC East. Everybody's tied up out there, 5-5.
And Buffalo in that picture as well. My goodness, 24-0 over Miami. Now, if in fact Buffalo wins, that will be the first time since Miami came into the AFL in 1966 that they've been beaten twice by Buffalo. 2nd and 8. Ball on the 12. Lomax under pressure, gets rid of it. And Lomax is pointing, begging for some kind of a call from the official.
He's looking for relief. He thinks that J.T. Smith was held, and you just saw J.T. pulling the back of his jersey, indicating that he was indeed held. Now let's watch on the left side of this, no, the right side of your screen, right there in the middle now. JT is going down. He just slips down. He may have felt a little hand on his back, but not enough for a flag. Can't blame him for asking, man.
Brings up a 3rd down and 8. Ball marked on the 12. Lomax back to pass. Looking for J.T. Smith. Too far in front of him.
Neal's doing the smart thing, though. If he's throwing the ball in the end zone, he's throwing it so only J.T. Smith can catch the football. Defenders don't even have a decent shot at it. That's the kind of thing that an experienced quarterback will do for you down there on the goal line. And Jim Gallery comes back in, and he's going to make this another experience for us. Let's see how he does with this chip shot.
So Jim Gallery will attempt a field goal. It'll be a 29-yard field goal attempt. And he called it a chip shot, but not for this guy. He's had difficulty all season. And he comes through on this one. So Jim Gallery makes good on the 29-yard field goal. And St. Louis continues to expand that lead. This one by 13 over the Falcons. Well, coming into today's game, St. Louis realized that they had to do their job by winning. Right now, they lead by 13, and part of the reason they realized they had to win because they had to rely on New Orleans and some others to fall. And Danny, that may be happening. New Orleans down 14-10 in their ball game, and Green Bay has Chicago dotted up at 10 apiece. And Larry Emery on the return for Atlanta gets it across the 25 to about the 27-yard line, stopped by Travis Curtis. So Scott Campbell will come on again to try and see if in fact he can engineer something here for Atlanta, and boy, he's hoping he can so as to remove some of the paper bags on the heads of fans here in Atlanta.
Now, what would his English team say about that? The Aints are in Atlanta 2-9. Come on, give the guys a break. Yeah, happy holidays to you.
1st and 10 for the Falcons, ball on their own 29. In the backfield, John Settle. Get to see Gerald Riggs. And Settle to pick up a couple.
James, you fully expect the Atlanta Falcons to start trying to throw the football a little bit more than run it. And then you see Freddie Joe Nunn. He's not going to let him run it. Number 78 for the Cardinals.
We're coming to you from Atlanta, Fulton County Stadium. James Brown along with Dan Jiggets. And it's been the quick strike ability of the Cardinals that have them out in front by the score of 27-14. 10:26 remaining in the 3rd quarter. 2nd and 8 for the Falcons. Ball on their own 31. Campbell to pass. complete, and it's dropped. John Settle out of the backfield, the rookie, had the pass and dropped it. And Danny, I don't even know if I can say whether or not the sun was blinding his vision that time.
I don't think it was the sun so much as the fact that Scott took a little bit too long to throw the ball. John had to turn his back to the sideline and wait for the pass to get there. Really should be catching that ball on the run, turning upfield as he receives the ball, not stopping and having to turn around and look for it.
And Danny, again, the little things have been hurting Atlanta. Could be a lot closer ball game.
Yeah, you just knock out some of the turnovers, and all of a sudden they're right in the thick of the thing. But unfortunately, they have not been able to do that.
Out of the shotgun on 3rd down and 8 with 3 wideouts. Campbell under pressure. He's down.
And it's E.J. Jr. in on the sack, and E.J. hasn't had one of those in a while. I know he likes the taste of it.
And he got a lot of help as well from Bob Clasby. 2nd sack for the Cardinals today.
Somewhat unusual. Now the Cardinals like to send their linebackers. There you see him coming inside. Number 54, E.J. Jr. beats the block there by John Scully, number 61, and just gets in on the sack, just bulls his way to the quarterback.
And for a Cardinal defense that's ranked 27th in the league, that'll certainly give them some confidence. Rick Donnelly back to do the punting. And back deep for the Cards. Sikahema. Sikahema at the 28, and he's down at the 28. Give the credit to David Crowden. Strong play and hustle. So St. Louis will start at their own 28.
It is a rivalry as celebrated and time-honored as the sport of college football itself. The Army-Navy game next Saturday on CBS Sports.
And we're coming to you from Atlanta on a Thanksgiving weekend here with some strong support. Some people here making it happen for us. Barry Drago, ace cameraman, 34 years old. His birthday is today. Bob Vernon, another strong support person. His birthday is coming up tomorrow. And take a look at this guy, Red McSpadden. 39-year anniversary, celebrated 2 weeks ago with CBS Sports. So we've got some of the best in the business who are giving up a Thanksgiving Day weekend to help us. And trying to help the Cardinals is Stump Mitchell, who's still on his feet with flags everywhere, but Stump continues to drive straight ahead before being driven out of bounds at the 40.
That flag is on the far side of the field. We did not get a chance to see exactly what the call was, but it appears that it is holding. There again, Mr. Tunney. Every player feels that he is the official.
Stump Mitchell. 6 carries for 13 yards. Tough day for him indeed. 2nd and 7. Lomax out of the backfield to Earl Farrell, complete. And he runs out of bounds. And Farrell dropped the ball. Again, a very catchable pass.
Yeah, James, but I think what happened, and the reason why we didn't see it, is the far side of the field. Earl had the ball in his hands and just kind of dribbled it right up off the ground and scooped it back up and kept going out of bounds with it. Here you go from the end zone. Neil Lomax looking right, finds Earl Farrell, number 31. Now watch Earl just drop it right there. Now he just scoops the ball back up, or it scoots out of bounds. But it sure looked good from where we sit.
And Danny, I asked before when there was a missed pass on that side of the field, perhaps the sun is in the eyes of the receivers. 3rd and 7. Lomax. Intended receiver was Troy Johnson, who had the ball momentarily, but it's incomplete.
I don't think he had the sun in his eyes. He's in the shade, too.
Plenty of shade.
That's a good excuse on Monday, though, believe me. Coach, I couldn't see that sun was coming right over the top of the stadium. It was unbelievable. But I don't think Gene Stallings is going to buy it at all.
So that'll bring up a punting situation. Greg Horn.
James, I have to say one thing. I think Bill Bidwell, the owner of the St. Louis Cardinals, made an excellent selection when he got Gene Stallings as his head coach. They've got a good squad put together and good coaches, and that's important. Those assistants do so much for you.
And Horn was aiming for the corner, and he got it. So Atlanta will take over deep in their own territory. And a couple of drop passes by Cardinal players the last possession, and Lomax over there having a conversation. Can't get too upset with Roy Green and J.T. Smith. He's got a pair of the best in the league. 1st and 10, ball on the 5 of Atlanta. And the handoff goes to Settle, and Settle driving straight ahead, and Danny, St. Louis punted the ball from the 37-yard line.
Their own 37 going in. I think the problem, though, is St. Louis is concerned about Gallery and whether or not he can make field goals from that distance. They're a little unsure about him. St. Louis has had some problems with kickers over the last 2 years, and there's the list, an honorable list. O'Donnell, Atkinson, Bojovic, Lee, Schubert. I don't even know how to pronounce Jason's last name.
I was waiting
and Jim
for you.
Gallery.
I was waiting for you on that one. 2nd and 7, pickup of 3. Ball marked on the 8 of the Falcons. Campbell back to pass. The intended receiver was Floyd Dixon, but the ball was thrown behind him. And on the coverage that time was Carl Carter. And actually, Carter looked to have a better angle on that pass than did Dixon.
Well, I think now Marion Campbell's realizing that offensively, the Cardinals have a pretty good idea about what he's trying to do in terms of the passing game down here. You have to be somewhat careful because if you turn it over down here, it's an automatic 6 points for the defense.
It's been a long season for Marion Campbell, and he knows what he's got to work with.
The key thing
3rd down and 7. Ball marked on the 8.
The key thing to remember, though, is when Marion Campbell took over this Falcon team, it was not a good football team. He's got a long way to go and a lot of building to do.
And Campbell looking for Matthews, but it's overthrown. Aubrey Matthews looked to be open that time, but Campbell overthrew him. So that'll bring up a punting situation for the Falcons. A good first half for Scott Campbell. A tougher second half. 0 for 6 in the second half and 1 interception. Rick Donnelly in to punt for the Falcons. And Donnelly gets away a decent one. At the 48 is Sekahema. He's got room. Look out. By Sekahema returns it back to the 18-yard line of Atlanta. Stopped. The saving tackle was by Joe Costello. So Vi Sekahema giving you some idea as to why he's one of the most exciting punt returners in the league.
Right side of your screen, Vi Sekahema gets the catch, and now watch him take off straight up the field. Now make his break, get outside, work back towards the other side of the field, away from the tacklers, and the only guy that can catch him is number 56, Joe Costello.
Vi Sekahema in his second year from BYU, 5'9", 191, and talk about a foreign legion. Take a look, Louise Sharp from Cuba, Vi Sekahema, Tonga, Colin Scott from Australia, and Ilya Yarachuk, an honorable mention from Russia because his parents moved here in 1958, and there's Errol Farrell. And Farrell takes it down inside the 5. Farrell with a good bull run.
But he took a shot from Mike Reed, number 95, just as he was hitting the turf, and as a result, he is still down on the field.
And John Rady helped in that as well.
Now here's the picture from the end zone, number 31, Earl Farrell, running towards that sideline there. He's going to start going down to the ground. Now watch number 95, Mike Reed, come in and really sting Earl Farrell. Here it comes now. Reed's coming into your picture, and those are the kinds of things that will give you an Excedrin headache.
Not to mention what it does to the bones in the body. And Farrell deciding to sit this one down for a few seconds to collect himself.
Well, sometimes when you get that shot like that, number one, it hurts your neck a little bit because of your neck snaps. And the other thing is you get a little woozy in the head. I'm sure that Errol's going to collect himself and get up and head to the sideline.
10 rushes, 50 yards. His 5 rushing touchdowns this year compared to none last season. And, you know, football players, they know when they've taken a good lick, and they'll acknowledge that to the opponents. And that perhaps might have been what he was motioning just then.
Yeah, but he who makes the motion lives to do it another day. And I don't think we've seen the last of number 31, Errol Farrell. I certainly hope that he'll return to the ball game.
So Earl Farrell, he's up under his own power, walking off, shaking it off. He'll want to get back in there. Into the backfield now for the Cardinals, number 39, Broderick Sargent. His second year from BYU. And St. Louis very successful inside the 20. The ball is marked on the 3. First and goal for the Cardinals. In motion, Stump Mitchell. Lomax rolling right. The intended receiver was Robert Awalt, but Robert Moore was over there and knocked the ball down.
Neal took just a little bit too long to throw the football in that situation. Had he just dropped the ball out very quickly to number 80, Robert Awalt, right side of your screen, you're going to see him sprinting towards the corner of the end zone. Right now, he's got to release that ball because he allows Robert Moore, 34, to get back into position and slap the ball away from his big tight end.
That'll bring up second and goal. Ball still marked on the 3. 2:47 remaining in the third quarter. Farrell back in the game. Stump Mitchell. And Stump crawls down to near the 1-yard line.
James, I saw something in that play that I think Neil Lomax might think about, and that was the bootleg was wide open. Had he kept the ball and not handed it off to Stump, he'd still be running if he wanted to. He could have run to Augusta from here had he faked that handoff.
Augusta, huh? Third and 1. Make that third and goal. The ball on the 1-yard line. And did they get it? No signal yet, and it does not look like
the officials have not ruled
it.
And you would see that official is right there in the line of scrimmage, called the touchdown if indeed he had gotten it. He has not. He's a little short.
So Atlanta's defense holding firm on the goal line.
Now watch here. He's going to try to sneak it across. And no, Neil Lomax does not get the necessary yardage. He's got to break the plane of that white line that's right there. As you see, Robert Awalt's laying on it. Second effort doesn't do it either. He's already down.
Now, what would you do in this situation? Go for it or kick the field goal?
Oh, absolutely. You go for it now. This situation now, you just punch it across. You have to have a little bit of belief in your offensive line.
Well, Gene Stallings agrees with you. They're going to go for it. And fourth and goal. And the handoff. And it's scored. Touchdown. So St. Louis goes for it on fourth and goal, and they get the touchdown. Earl Farrell, the ball carrier.
And I told you Earl Farrell would be back in this football game. He comes back to hurt the Falcons in a big way. Watch him here, just power it across. This is good, strong running. He doesn't try to go airborne. He tries to take a couple of Falcons in the end zone with him.
And no nicer way to get back for a vicious hit than to take it across for the score.
Now that makes it very sweet.
Jim Gallery with the point after. It's up, and it's good. So St. Louis continuing to pad that margin on that 1-yard run by Earl Farrell. Let's go quickly to New York and Brent Musburger for an update.
James, the Chicago Bears open up a little daylight on the Green Bay Packers in Soldier Field. Thomas Sanders from 7 yards out. They lead it 20-10. Back to James.
All right, Brennan, here we have a 20-point lead by the Cardinals, 34-14 over the Atlanta Falcons. 1:42 remaining in the third quarter. And Danny, it looks as if whatever enthusiasm and energy the Falcons had in the first half, it's slowly being sapped away in the second half.
But when you've only won 2 football games in the course of a whole season, you've got to think now is a very critical time for you to show what you're made of. Don't let yourself just get whipped up in the third and fourth quarter. Now come back and prove that you got a little backbone.
And Scott Campbell's got the task on his shoulders.
That's right. A lot of that pressure is going to fall on Scott Campbell. He's a guy that's expected to do it. He's the quarterback and the leader of that offense.
Well, Marion Campbell, very pleased, of course, with the coaching staff that he's assembled here, Danny, but he said he knows that it's going to take a couple of years to get things going in the right direction. He's very patient. Hopefully the fans, he's indicating, will be that way with him.
Well, there you see him talking to one of his assistants. That's Rod Dowhauer, former head coach in the NFL. Earlier we saw Jim Hannafin coaching the offensive line down here. He's another one of those guys that was a head coach in the NFL and very familiar to the St. Louis fans. So you got a lot of experience in terms of the coaching ranks. Jimmy Ray, just the same kind of thing. He's coaching the receivers down here.
And the kickoff. Emery taking it deep in his own end zone, decides not to return it. Smart move. Coming up next Saturday, CBS Sports presents the 88th meeting between Army and Navy. That'll be coming your way at 2 Eastern time. Then live from the Downtown Athletic Club in New York City, the Heisman Trophy Award Show. A very special day of college football coming your way next Saturday right here on CBS Sports.
James, you've heard of the old saying, I got your goat. Well, I understand that the Army boys have already stolen Navy's goat. They've got it hidden away somewhere, and they'll expose it come Saturday.
So Atlanta with the 1st and 10, ball marked on their own 20-yard line. Having run up a total of 199 yards today, 91 only on the ground. Campbell going to the air. And it's incomplete, just off of the fingertips of Aubrey Matthews. And Campbell trying to go up top and go downtown quickly.
And that was a beautifully thrown pass by Scott Campbell. The margin for error on a pass like that is very small, and he really squeezed it in there half a step more, and Aubrey Matthews has the catch.
Johnny Holloway and Lonnie Young did a great job on the coverage that time.
One change in that Atlanta offensive line. Number 62, Brett Miller, is starting in place of Leonard Marshall, number 73, at right tackle.
Back on 2nd down with 3 wideouts. Campbell going up top for Floyd Dixon. And Dixon had it momentarily and dropped it after being pushed in the back by Carl Carter.
James, I mentioned number 62, Brett Miller, is now in the game at right tackle. He was the starting right tackle.
Pass interference, defense.
And Carter.
Number 41, 1st down.
Carter with too much of a push too soon that time.
And there's Carl Carter, number 41. Let's see if he gets that push in there early. Boy, I don't know. That one was timed up just right.
Boy.
That was just timed up right. And there he is, Floyd Dixon going to the ground. I thought Carl Carter had a good play on that one.
Couldn't have asked for a better defensive play by Carter that time.
No, but he's a young guy, and the young guys at cornerback don't get too many breaks in those situations.
1st and 10, ball on the 32. Campbell back to pass, looking for Matthews. Off his fingertips, incomplete. And Danny, this is the kind of situation that Marion Campbell said he did not want to be in. He did not want to have to stay strictly with the air attack. But then again, Gerald Riggs has not been back in the game. That bruised shoulder obviously giving him problems, so Campbell is forced to go to the air.
And not only that, you're down by 20 points. You have to make something happen. You're late in the 3rd quarter with 1:19 remaining in the 3rd quarter. You've got to try to get a score on the board very quickly. The best way to do that is with a passing game.
2nd and 10, the woes continue for Scott Campbell. 0 for 8 this half, 1 interception. In motion, Aubrey Matthews. Campbell back to pass again. Looking for Matthews, and off of his fingertips. And yet another drop pass, a very catchable ball, Danny. And you can see the frustration on Aubrey Matthews' face. He knows it as well.
Yeah, you know, those are the kinds of things that run through your mind when you drop a pass like that. You know the kind of situation your team is in. You say, boy, oh boy, I can't keep doing that. If I do, I know they're going to make some changes at this position.
That brings up a 3rd and 10, 1:15 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Atlanta down by 20. 3 wideouts. Campbell out of the shotgun. Going up top for Matthews again. And Matthews, with the ball hitting him on the hands, is incomplete.
Well, Aubrey Matthews is beating the ball up. That time he had his hands up, pushing the ball back away from his body when he's trying to make the reception. You've got to receive the ball, not push it away from your body. And that's the mistake that he made on that reception.
He goes over to think about that one by himself. He knows it. Rick Donnelly back for punting duty again. Back deep, Vicekahema for the Cardinals.
You start adding in the yardage that Vicekahema's got today for the Cardinals, and it's just exceptional.
And Donnelly with a good kick. Booming kick, a flag on the play. Vicekahema with the ball at the 14. He's across the 25. Vicekahema returns it to the 25-yard line and will check the flag.
James Vicekahema's been averaging over 20 yards of punt return today. That's just exceptional.
And Jim Tunney has had a long afternoon as well, forgetting to punch his microphone on. But the call is against St. Louis. And they'll march the Cardinals backwards.
Foul.
And we hear him that time. 20,000 was expected today. Only 15,909 showed. And they don't have very much to cheer about right now as you look at the number of no-shows.
They're out doing their Christmas shopping, those 18,000 no-shows, getting in that quick shop before everybody else gets there.
So St. Louis will start from their own 7-yard line. Lomax. Good pitch back to McAdoo, and McAdoo up near the 9-yard line. Interesting thing about Derek McAdoo, he did not pass his physical examination. He had a knee problem during the May minicamp, but pleaded with the Cardinals Brain Trust to give him another shot, and he's with the team, so he's trying to take full advantage of that opportunity. A rookie out of Baylor University. A pickup of 2, 2nd and 8. And straight ahead goes Earl Farrell. And there's a flag on the play. And this one will go against the Cardinals. So St. Louis starting to get just a little careless. And they'll be moved further back in their own territory.
James, with 19 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
Holding offense, number 61, half the distance of goal line, still 2nd down.
With 19 seconds left in the third quarter, you try to rely on that big offensive line of yours to do the job. Lance Smith, number 61, has been doing the job all day. Problem with playing the offensive line, the only time you get noticed is when you give up a sack or you get a penalty.
And the third quarter is running down. And when we come back, the Cardinals will have it. It'll be a 2nd and 13 situation for them when we start the fourth quarter, but they lead it by 20. And so the start of the fourth quarter finds the Falcons trailing by 20. Neil Lomax going up top and complete to Robert Awalt from deep in his own territory. And Awalt with the first down out near the 30-yard line.
James, this guy, like I said before, has already made the all-rookie team, maybe all-rookie honors. Here we go. Neil Lomax going to his big tight end, number 80, Robert Awalt. He's wide open. Again, splitting that zone in between the linebackers and the deep secondary. He finds Awalt and makes the reception.
And Neil Lomax says he has no problems going to Robert Awalt because he reminds him a lot of one of his college teammates, Clint Didier, who plays with the Washington Redskins. 1st and 10, ball on the 30 of the Cardinals. Lomax, the handoff to Earl Farrell, and Farrell straight ahead for maybe 2. Now let's check in back in New York with Brent Musburger for an update from around the league.
All right, James, we've got the New Orleans Saints closing in on their first winning season ever. Hebert zips a scoring pass to Martin. Then they had an interception. They have added a field goal now. And so it is 20-14, Saints lead. Back to James.
Boy, big game there indeed.
You can believe they're going to be celebrating down in New Orleans. They've never had a winning season down here, so you can imagine what kind of an event it is for them.
2nd and 6, ball on the 34 of St. Louis. And a little mix-up in the backfield, and Lomax lets it go, and unwisely so as it's intercepted. David Crowdiff is still on his feet, down across the 40.
There's going to be a flag.
There's a flag on the play.
James, those are stupid penalties. You don't need that after the interception. Now they're going to tack on 15 more yards. It's probably going to put the St. Louis Cardinals down somewhere near the 5-yard line. Excuse me, the Atlanta Falcons. If you're a St. Louis Cardinal, you got to be a little bit upset with your people doing that.
You take a look at Gene Stallings looking on a mix-up on the play as Neil Lomax ran into his back and unloaded it under pressure.
Neil is under pressure here. Now he's trying to avoid the sack there by number 76, Gann, and now he just uncorks it. But he saw his tight end, number 80, Awalt, down deep, but he overthrew him. Awalt stopped running, tried to come back for the football, and David Crudup makes an excellent interception. And now watch the beautiful run. Lets a couple of his blockers set him up there, and now he takes off as deep as he can get into the end zone, to the sideline, breaks it off. Now here's the penalty. Number 33, McAdoo, body slams him by the head to the turf. That's 15 yards down the field, additional to the run. Or excuse me, half the distance because they were inside the 20-yard line.
So Atlanta will get a big break. Question is, can they capitalize on it?
James, I believe that
offsetting penalties, personal foul and necessary roughness defense, personal foul on the runner, and the runner is disqualified.
The runner is disqualified. That means they have disqualified David Crudup for getting head body slammed on the sideline. He is thrown out of the game. Number 30, David Crudup. I can't believe that happened. There's the end of the play one more time. Number 30, David Crudup. You see there, McAdoo, 33, grabs him by the helmet and slams him to the ground. Yeah, I'd be a little bit upset about that myself. He just gets in a little decent shot there and throws him back down to the ground. But I can't understand why they threw Crudup out of the game.
Well, the explanation was given to Marion Campbell on the sidelines, and they claimed that the first punch was thrown. Well, the second explanation certainly doesn't bring about a different reaction from the fans here. So Atlanta will take over. 1st and 10. Ball on the St. Louis 22-yard line. And Danny, with 13:04 remaining, there's plenty of time.
Correction on the runner of Atlanta was number 30, who was disqualified. 3-0.
Aubrey Matthews, wide to the left. Lloyd Dixon to the right. In motion is Middleton. Pitch goes to Settle, and Settle with a pickup of about 3 along the left side, stopped by Lonnie Young and Johnny Holloway. And second half possessions have not yielded much for Atlanta. They're going for their first score in the second half.
And you see they've had some decent field position, but just have not been able to do anything with it. The whole second half, and Marion Campbell's got to be saying, hey, look, offense, got to give me some points here, guys.
To bring up a 2nd and 5, ball marked on the 17-yard line of the Cardinals. Big break for the Falcons. We'll see if they can capitalize. In motion, Middleton again. Campbell rolling left, under pressure, has to run it himself. And Scott Campbell takes it out of bounds. He was being pressured by E.J. Jr. from behind. And Jr. is the one lying on the ground, writhing in pain.
Let's going to look at it from the end zone, see if we can find out what happened to E.J. Jr. There you see Scott Campbell, number 10, rolling out to his left. Naked bootleg. He can't get it to the receiver. Didn't get it to the receiver. E.J. Jr. dives down. It appears that he got hit in the face, but we'll try to find out what happened in a minute.
And when we return, the Falcons will have it close to the goal line. With the Cardinals leading by 20, it's been a big afternoon for Neil Lomax. Impressive numbers, 351 yards. Gerald Riggs injured for the Atlanta Falcons. That certainly has hurt them. Along with turnovers, that's been a story for Atlanta. But Atlanta is within striking distance now, Danny, 17 yards away from pay dirt. They could get back into this ball game and cut the lead down to 13.
James, Atlanta could cut the lead, as you said, down to 13. Suddenly you're talking about 2 more scores, and they're ahead in the ball game. Not that ridiculous to think about when you consider the fact that St. Louis's defense has had their problems in the past. And St. Louis has also just lost E.J. Jr. to an injury.
And here's the play right here. Take a look. It looks as if he was hurt on the block.
Arthur Cox, number 88, comes in late on the block, and E.J. goes down, and he hasn't gotten up yet. I don't believe they're still working on him. Excuse me, they do have him off the field, and we'll get a report for you as soon as possible.
1st and 10. Ball is now marked on the 12-yard line. In motion, Middleton. And the handoff goes to Settle. Settle across the 10. Down near the 5-yard line. John Settle with the run down to the 5-yard line. New Orleans leading Pittsburgh by 6. That game in the 4th quarter. Chicago expanding their lead over the Packers by 10. And Philadelphia leading New England only by a touchdown, 31-24. Houston coming back. They're down by 14 to the Colts. And the Jets trailing. Buffalo blanking Miami. 2nd down. Ball on the 5. 2nd and 3. Settle. Straight ahead. Forward progress. Pickup of about 1.5 yards.
Not much there. I expect Scott Campbell to go to the play action pass at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if he tried another one of those naked bootlegs down here. The last one was open. He just didn't have time to set up and deliver the ball like he wanted to.
And John Settle getting quite a bit of work this afternoon. Gerald Riggs in the locker room, not even out here on the sideline. It'll be 3rd and 2. Ball is marked on the 4-yard line. Campbell, play action. And he throws it, and the ball is loose, but the play is whistled dead.
He did indeed come back with the bootleg pass there, but he just couldn't hook up with this. I think he was trying to throw to his tight end. Let's get a look at it now. You're going to see Scott Campbell, number 10, roll out to his right there on the bootleg. You see him faking inside to Settle, number 44. He goes for Ron Middleton, 87, just a little bit behind Ron, though. And now he's going to run over there and make sure that that ball is not intercepted.
This will bring up a 4th and 2 situation. Ball on the 4. And the Falcons going to go for it. Critical situation, to say the least. In the backfield, John Settle. In motion, Middleton. Campbell rolling right. Throws it. And it's complete to Aubrey Matthews. Touchdown, Atlanta Falcons. So on a 4th and 2 situation, the Falcons roll the dice, and they come away lucky as Aubrey Matthews takes it in for the touchdown.
James, we said at the top of the show that the Atlanta Falcons are dangerous because they don't have anything to lose. 4th down 2 from the 2-yard line here. You see Scott Campbell rolling out right again, and he's going to find Aubrey Matthews. Now, Aubrey makes the play right here. This is what makes the play. He makes that second effort to get into the end zone, and he beats number 29, Johnny Holloway, for the touchdown.
And Mick Luckhurst will attempt the point after. It's up, and it's good. So Scott Campbell's first completion of the second half is good for a touchdown, and Atlanta cuts the lead to 13.
Last year, the Giants knocked out the Redskins. Now the first place Skins are out for revenge. Next on CBS Sports.
Well, before we go to that second game, we've got a good one here, Danny. Luckhurst boots it deep. And it's by Sikahema. And Sikahema returns it for the Cardinals up near the 20-yard line. And that's where St. Louis will take it over with 10:34 remaining in the contest. They lead it by 13.
James, I think that Atlanta was considering an onside kick in that situation, but they've probably told their special teams, hey, look, St. Louis comes out and sets up for the onside kick, just kick it away, Mick Luckhurst, and that's exactly what he did. St. Louis was set up for the onside kick, though.
And St. Louis, very potent and consistent with the scores throughout the contest. 1st and 10, ball on the 21 of the Cardinals. And Lomax with the handoff, a pickup maybe of 1. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Atlanta Falcons and the National Football League is prohibited. Earl Farrell was the ball carrier, and a pickup of about 3. Brings up a 2nd and 7, ball on the 24. In motion, Roy Green, ball carrier, McAdoo. And McAdoo goes straight ahead.
Now, if you're the St. Louis Cardinals, at this point in the game with 9 minutes and 47 seconds remaining on the clock, you're ahead by a touchdown and a field goal at least. Now what do? You run the football. You start grinding up that clock, burning the clock as much as you possibly can. That's exactly what they're doing. Neil Lomax, I'd be very surprised to see him throw any deep balls right now because he wants to use that clock.
That'll bring up a 3rd and 3, a pickup of 4 by McAdoo. Ball marked on the 28 of the Cardinals. Quick pass complete to J.T. Smith. And Smith is near the 1st down marker. Let's check in with Brent Musburger for another update on that Saints game.
All right, James, it is 4th and goal for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Saints have stopped them 3 times, and here the Steelers come now to the left side, and a great goal line stand. The Saints are 2 minutes away from their first winning season ever. Back to James.
Well, that certainly isn't very good news for the St. Louis fans.
No, but it's good news for Tom Benson, the owner of the New Orleans Saints. He's going to be doing his little boogaloo dance.
And that indeed was a 1st down for the Cardinals. 1st and 10, ball on their own 33. And bobbled momentarily by McAdoo, but he gets the handle on it and takes it to the 35-yard line. Pickup of 2. Stopped by Andrew Providence. So Derek McAdoo, the rookie out of Baylor, getting quite a bit of work. And talk about close ball games. Take a look there for St. Louis. You know, Gene Stallings has been here for 2 years. His record is 8-17-1, and 10 of his 17 losses have been by 7 points or less. So some hard luck scores there. 2nd and 7, and if in fact St. Louis wins today, the first back-to-back wins by Stallings. Complete to Earl Farrell out of the backfield.
And I'm sure Gene Stallings would have preferred that Earl Farrell stay in bounds on that pass reception and have that clock continue to run. As it is, the clock is stopped at 7 minutes, 44 seconds remaining. This drive is doing exactly what St. Louis wants it to do. Keep burning up that clock and don't give it back to the Falcons when they still have an opportunity to score a couple of touchdowns on you.
Brings up a 3rd and 5. Ball marked on the 38. Lomax back to pass. Complete to Farrell out of the backfield, but he dropped it, and Farrell took a hit that time. Did they call it complete?
It appears that they did. Earl Farrell is still down on the ground along with Robert Moore, number 34.
Boy, Farrell's body has taken some punishment today.
It certainly has, and Atlanta cannot afford to have another person in their secondary go down, as Robert Moore, number 34, is down on the ground right now. Look on the right side of your screen, and we'll see if we can find number 34, Robert Moore of Atlanta, and Earl Farrell, 31. There you go. He goes low on Earl Farrell. I think he hurts his side, and Farrell is hurt as well down on the lower leg. Those kinds of collisions, no one wins.
Well, Farrell doesn't appear to be in an awful lot of pain there, judging by that shot, as contrasted to Moore, who certainly is holding that right wrist of his. We're coming to you from Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. James Brown along with Dan Jiggett. 7:33 remaining in the contest. And the Cardinals lead it by 13, 34-21. And Neil Lomax showing why he's the NFC's 3rd-rated passer with a simply outstanding day, passing for over 350 yards.
James,
go ahead, Dan.
The Cardinals have accomplished everything that they hoped to coming into this ball game. Offensively, they've done a great job. Defensively, they've gotten pressure on the quarterback when they needed to, flushed Scott Campbell out a couple of times, caused him to make some mistakes, throw some interceptions, intercepted the football. The secondary's been very active, and those young people back there, Carl Carter, in the secondary for the St. Louis Cardinals, has done an exceptional job. He got caught once or twice, but he's number 41 back there. We'll keep an eye on him for the rest of the game, because I'm sure the Falcons are thinking that that's got to be a little bit of a weak spot because of those young guys. Also, Johnny Holloway's came in and played in some spots. So we'll keep an eye on the secondary of the Cardinals when they come back in, but they have done an exceptional job for Gene Stallings.
And Gene Stallings looking for his first back-to-back win. Let's check in with Brent Musburger.
All right, James, Dan Marino's streak is over. After 30 straight games, he comes up empty. And on the day, 13 of 28 for 3 interceptions. The Buffalo Bills are red hot right now. They shut out the Miami Dolphins 27-0. Back to James.
And Danny and Brent, as I mentioned earlier during the game today, that victory by Buffalo is the first time that they've beaten Miami twice in the same season since Miami came into the AFL, that back in 1966. As we take a look at Earl Farrell in the game, pretty productive day, 13 carries for 58 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's the big thing there. And very, very versatile coming out of the backfield. 3 receptions for 42 yards. So certainly that would be a bit of a blow to the St. Louis Cardinals if he can't play the rest of the way.
That's a 100-yard day for him, and that's exceptional for anyone.
And to take a look at St. Louis's upcoming games, not an easy one.
No.
And we'll be back with more fourth quarter action right after these messages. And the injured player being taken off of the field is Earl Farrell for the St. Louis Cardinals. Not a good sign.
And here's what happened. You're going to see number 34, Robert Moore, come in and go low on Earl Farrell. He gets injured as well there. He sinks that shoulder into the knee. That's what's got Earl out, and that's also what's got Robert out. And you see him there holding his wrist. Earl Farrell left the field with a cast on his left leg. We'll try to get a report for you as soon as possible on his condition.
Greg Horn punting for the St. Louis Cardinals. And Horn gets a low one away to Billy White Shoes Johnson. And Johnson takes it up near the 40-yard line. So the Falcons will take over on their own 40-yard line. New Orleans leading Pittsburgh by 4. That one late in the fourth quarter. Chicago expanding their lead to Green Bay, over Green Bay by 13. And Philadelphia still holding on to that 1 touchdown lead over New England. Indianapolis just blowing Houston away 41-27. And all tied up with the Jets in Cincinnati. Cincinnati has come back big in that game. And of course, that's a final. 1st and 10, ball on the 41 for Atlanta. The ball carrier, John Settle. And Settle gets it across up to near the 45-yard line. Coming next, you'll see this game, the New York Giants taking on the Washington Redskins. That game taking place in Washington.
They're already underway. Giants up 3-zip.
2nd and 6. Ball on the 45 of Atlanta. 3 wideouts in. Campbell back to pass. With time, finds Settle out of the backfield, just shy of midfield. And just shy of the first down.
James, Scott Campbell had a receiver open late deep, and I'm going to try to find out who that is. See if we see that same play again. He had Floyd Dixon, 86, on the far side of the field, wide open deep. He beat number 41, Cedric Mack, and let's see if they go back to that same pass pattern.
3rd down situation for Atlanta. Call it 3rd and 1. Atlanta 4 of 12 on 3rd down conversions. And the ball goes to Settle, and Settle's got it, and plenty of daylight. John Settle gets the first down with about 6 yards to spare before being stopped by Nico Noga and Lonnie Young.
Scott Campbell gives a toss to John Settle, number 44, takes it off the left side there. Key thing there is the block. Does he get a good block by number 39? Lead blocking there, takes it up, and boy, does he make an impact on that secondary of the Cardinals.
Danny, the Falcons trail by 13 with 5:28 remaining. When do you start to speed the offense up?
Well, I think they're going to do it right now. Scott Campbell drops back to throw deep.
Looking for Matthews, and Matthews was open, but Campbell overthrew him.
The Falcons know that they can get those receivers open deep every now and then. You can't do it as a steady dive, but every now and then you're going to be able to get one of those receivers open deep. When you do that, you've got to get the strike in, though.
Well, Aubrey Matthews was wide open that time, and he looks as if he can recharge at any time. As you take a look at the injuries today, the Cardinals suffered 3 injuries, and the Atlanta Falcons with 4. 2nd and 10, ball on the 44 of St. Louis. In motion, Aubrey Matthews, 3 wideouts. Campbell back to pass. Across the middle, the intended receiver was Aubrey Matthews. And Matthews tightly covered that time by Johnny Holloway.
Johnny Holloway wasn't getting them room to breathe on that slanting pattern. And as a result, when Scott Campbell threw the ball to Aubrey Matthews, he had absolutely no chance to catch it.
Big 3rd down coming up for Atlanta. You see the time remaining. With 3 wideouts in. Campbell operating out of the shotgun. On 3rd and 10. Complete. 1st down to Aubrey Matthews. So Scott Campbell comes away with the big completion to Aubrey Matthews down to the 21-yard line of St. Louis.
Scott Campbell finds Aubrey Matthews in the zone. Now watch those linebackers inside. They're just going to take those drops, go back to their areas. But Aubrey Matthews, you're going to see him come right into your picture now, sits right in the seam between those linebackers and the deep secondary and makes the reception.
Now Atlanta historically has done well against NFC East opponents. They've won 3 of the last 4 games against NFC East opponents, and they're hoping they can do it again today. Matthews, 7 receptions for 115 yards. Back on 1st down. Campbell, complete to Billy Johnson. And White Shoes inside the 15. Now let's take you back to New York for an NFL update with Brent Musburger.
James, why don't you and Dan Jiggets go to the airport, get a plane, and say, take me to New Orleans. Folks, Bourbon Street is going to be alive tonight. The Saints have wrapped up their first winning season ever. They are now 8-3. Back to James.
And Brent, that does indeed sound like the place to be, but we've got a good one here as well. 2nd and 2 for the Falcons. Campbell rolling to the left. Looking in the end zone for Matthews. Just beyond the outstretched hands of Aubrey Matthews. Carl Carter was on the coverage.
Carl Carter's gotten the workout today. I think he's one of those secondary men that's going to grow 10 years in the league in 1 year because he's going to get a lot of action his way. Scott Campbell rolling left. Very difficult pass for a right-handed throw. The throw, as I said before, just out of the reach of his receiver. That's something that will come with time. Scott Campbell will make that pass later on in his career.
That brings up a 3rd and 2. 3rd and 2, ball marked on the 13. Atlanta 6 of 13 on 3rd down conversions. Campbell back, rolling to his right, under pressure. He's got to get rid of it. And it's incomplete. So that'll bring up a 4th and 2 for the Falcons. Now, Danny, with a 4th and 2 situation, ball on the 13, what do?
Well, if you're the Atlanta Falcons at this point, you've got to go for the touchdown. Your season, the game, everything is coming down to a close. Now you've got to try to win. You got to do whatever you can to try to get the touchdown because field goals at this point just won't do you any good. You need the scores. You need the touchdowns. 4th down and 2, and they're going to go for the end zone.
4th and 2, ball on the 13 to St. Louis. Atlanta decides to go for it. 2 receivers to the left. Campbell back to pass. Throws it high. Intended receiver was Aubrey Matthews, and you can see the frustration on Scott Campbell's face. Perhaps rushed it a little too much.
He did. You know, when you roll out to that side, as I said earlier, it's a very difficult pass for a quarterback to throw because he's throwing away from the natural angle that you'd like to throw back to the right side. Here you see him rolling left, and he's got to try to pitch it right down to that receiver. That's a tough throw to make. And there you see Aubrey Matthews falling to the ground as the ball cascades towards the end zone. That's it.
And he had an open Aubrey Matthews.
At least for the first down. That's all he was really looking for on that play, was to make the first down.
So St. Louis takes it over. 1st and 10, ball on their own 13 with 3:42 remaining. And of course, they're going to try to run the clock out as much as possible. Lomax hands off. A gain maybe of 1. Don't forget, coming up next Saturday here on CBS Sports, tradition, Army and Navy. They're going to go at it again for the 88th time. Then following that contest, we'll have the Heisman Trophy Award presentation coming to you from the Downtown Athletic Club in New York City. That's coming your way next Saturday, right here on CBS Sports.
James, I mentioned earlier that you're going to be at that Heisman show, and you know who won already. Can you tell us? Come on, you can share it with us.
I wish I knew. The balloting deadline is next Friday, so if I knew something now, that'd be a little sneaky, huh? 2nd and 7, ball on the 16 of St. Louis. And Lomax turns around to call a timeout with 3 minutes remaining in the contest. Neil Lomax wants to go over and talk it over on the sidelines with head coach Gene Stallings. And Danny, when you take a look, if you were to play the part of head coach, as far as Marion Campbell is concerned, with the upcoming draft, what do you look for?
One of the key things that Marion Campbell's got to look for is he needs some upfield rushers. He needs some pass rushers. It's one of the things he shared with us the other day. He says, hey, look, I've got to get some guys that can cause that quarterback to throw it. He won't sit back there and have all day to pass the football. Now, for St. Louis, on the other hand, they're going to need some help on defense as well. They may need 1 or 2 more defensive linemen. Curtis Greer's been banged up quite a bit, and they'd like to get another big upfield rusher, but they also need help in the cornerback position and in the linebacking positions.
And St. Louis hasn't had much luck this year. Kelly Stauffer, their #1 draft choice, unsigned, and Tim McDonald, the 2nd-round draft choice, he's injured, so they haven't had the use of either. And Danny, historically not very good in the way of drafts for Atlanta. I make that St. Louis.
Well, you go back over the years, Cedric Mack is playing today, Smith is playing. But you're right, they have not had a great deal of luck with their 1st-round draft choices. Freddie Joe Nunn, drafted as a linebacker, is now moved to down line and is finally coming into his own. Clyde Duncan, the 84 #1 choice, is no longer in the league. Doug Dawson, the #2 choice from 84, is no longer in the league. John Lee is gone.
You have to go all the way back to 1983. See, with Leonard Smith and Cedric Mack, when they've gotten some use out of their top draft choices. You take a look at Bill Bidwell.
And if anybody's aware of what those draft choices have done, it's him.
2nd and 7 for St. Louis. Ball on their own 16. Lomax. Quick toss out to J.T. Smith. And J.T. Smith is roped down by James Britt.
JT is just collecting stats now.
And a timeout called by the Falcons with 2:49 remaining in the contest.
James,
so it's a final. New Orleans has beaten the Steelers by 4.
Let's keep an eye on J.T. Smith. He's taking a little bit of time getting back over there. It appears that he may have a bit of a wrist injury.
And Chicago has beaten Green Bay by 13. All tied up. New England has come back on the Eagles. That one is notched at 31 apiece. And Indianapolis 41-27 over Houston. That one in the 4th quarter. The Jets nursing a 1-touchdown lead over Cincinnati. Cincinnati has really come back strong in that ball game. And a final, Miami being blanked by Buffalo 27-0, a final there. First Miami shutout since 1982. And a late game taking place right now. The Rams leading Tampa Bay 7-0. That game out of Los Angeles. No score in the Denver-Seattle game, San Diego game. And of course, in the game that you'll be seeing next, the Giants are leading the Redskins 3-0. That game being played at RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C. Doug Williams was to have been the starting quarterback, hurt his back, and starting for the Redskins in that game is Jay Schrader. .249 remaining. 1st and 10 for the Cardinals. And they keep it on the ground, trying to run the clock out.
Atlanta called the timeout there. Figure they've got 2 minutes, 44 seconds remaining. If they can stop them here, they'll be in great shape.
Coming up tonight on CBS, on 60 Minutes, a mystery story that ends in murder. That'll be followed by Murder, She Wrote, starring Angela Lansbury. Then the Sunday movie, The Long Journey Home, starring David Burney and Meredith Baxter Burney. That's tonight, coming your way right here on CBS. So Atlanta calls another timeout, trying to preserve what precious time remains as Gene Stallings talks things over with Neil Lomax. The Cardinals are one of the youngest teams in the league, Danny, as 25 of their 45-man roster have 2 years or less experience in the league, and Gene Stallings says that he fully expects this team to finish strong the rest of the season.
And then speaking of finishing strong, you know he's looking at this wild card situation saying, hey, we win today. What should we've got up already? They're 5-6 now. In a couple of minutes they will be. But New Orleans, again, jumped out in front today. They're 8-3 now. They've got to hope for Minnesota to do something strange.
2nd and 8 for the Cardinals. Ball on their own 25. Lomax is going to pass. Pumps. No, he's going to run it, and he slides it in. Smart play by the veteran. John Rady with the touch. And the Falcons called their last timeout. Now, Danny, you just got finished updating the fans on the wild card picture as it relates to the St. Louis Cardinals. Minnesota, a team obviously is doing very well. They've got a fairly tough schedule ahead of themselves.
They do. They've got the Bears the Bears up in Minnesota. That's going to be a tough game. Then they've got to travel to Green Bay on December 13th. You know it's going to be cold then. They've got Detroit in Detroit, and that's going to be another tough one. Darryl Rogers may be looking at the last game or two of his career as a head coach of the Lions. They're going to play hard for him. And then they finish up with the Skins on December 26th. That's a Saturday on CBS, and that's going to be a tough ball game for them because Washington wants to get that home field advantage for the playoffs.
Well, St. Louis looking to end a streak that they're not very proud of, a streak where they have not played very well on grass fields since 1984. As a matter of fact, St. Louis is just 2 of 11 on grass fields since 1984, including losing 5 straight. But it looks as if they're going to turn that one around, and maybe there's a quarterback of the future.
Yeah, I know Chris Miller's looking over his shoulder now. He's going, hey, wait a minute. That kid looks like he's ready to play, too.
Oh, he's got a ways to wait, Dan.
I tell you, that's the thing that keeps the life in the game, though, the young people being able to come out and see the football games. If you price the game out of the market where you can bring your children to the ball game, suddenly in a generation or two it dies in terms of fan interest.
St. Louis, strong job today, 465 total yards, 157 this half alone. 3rd and 1. Ball on the 31 of St. Louis. Last play before the 2-minute warning. And Ron Wolfley carries it. And it's good for the first down. As St. Louis will take their time back in the huddle on this one.
And that'll wind us down to the 2-minute warning. What Atlanta was hoping for there is they were hoping to stop St. Louis on 3rd down, get the punt, maybe have an opportunity to get one more score in the ball game, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen. St. Louis has the ball and the clock. They own it.
So we come to the 2-minute warning. And St. Louis, with a 13-point lead, will have it on first down when we return. So the Cardinals are just 2 minutes away from picking up their 5th victory of the season. They lead it by 13 over the Atlanta Falcons. And Danny, we talked at the top of the day about the Cardinals coming in and wanting to play well for playoff reasons, but there are other reasons why they want to play well.
Well, James, they said that if indeed they do have to move, they want to take a winning record with them. Now, that's something that St. Louis fans don't really want to hear. They want their Cardinals to stay in St. Louis, but they've got to do something to keep them there.
And the Cardinals keep it on the ground. Ron Wolfley, the ball carrier. With 1:52 remaining, and Danny, thus far, it's been a strong day for Neil Lomax, 369 yards. Gerald Riggs, as we mentioned, went out injured with that bruised shoulder, and Atlanta hurt themselves with turnovers. And J.T. Smith, you talked about him earlier in his league-leading effort.
Yeah, J.T., this makes him extremely ecstatic, and I expect fully to see him in the Pro Bowl. And again, Bill Bidwell's got to be excited about the way J.T. has turned out for him, picking him up off the waivers.
2nd and 8. Ball on the 37 of St. Louis. 1:19 remaining, and St. Louis smartly keeps the ball on the ground again. And once again, New Orleans, you mentioned before, the first winning season in the franchise's history. They beat the Steelers. Chicago wins it by 13 over the Packers.
That moves their record to 9-2 in the NFC Central.
They're looking for home field advantage, of course, throughout the playoffs. All knotted up between Philadelphia and New England. That game may be headed for overtime. And Indianapolis leading Houston 44-27. That one late in the 4th. 3rd and 4. As St. Louis keeps the ball on the ground with less than 30 seconds remaining in the game. And Marion Campbell will see his team drop to 2-9. The Jets with a 1-touchdown lead over the Bengals, 27-20. And a final, Buffalo 27, Miami zip. And the Rams in a late game, they lead the Buccaneers by a touchdown. And San Diego leading Denver by a touchdown in the game that you're going to be seeing coming up next. The Giants leading the Redskins 3-0. And that does it here, as St. Louis pulls out the victory 34-21. You see Marion Campbell and Gene Stallings meeting at midfield. For Dan Jiggins, this is James Brown saying so long from Atlanta, where the final score was St. Louis 34, Atlanta 21. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after this message and a word from your local station.